Part 87. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 861. Lu Ligan and the others stayed in Haikan for 4 nights. Mr. Han made a plan for the reconstruction of Gentian River. Lu Ligan looked at it and said to Mr. Han, "Why do I feel that what I am about to do is a century project? It looks like so great." Mr. Han smiled and said, "I don't know if it's great or not, but I know that you have to move quickly next time, not just for this project, but for other projects as well. As the same saying goes, get the land you can as soon as possible." Lu Ligan looked at Mr. Han and waited, knowing that he would have something to say next. Mr. Han continued, "I know that Shanghai, Shenzhen, and your city, Hangzhou, all have plans to start pilot land acquisition and storage systems. It will definitely start as early as the end of this year or as late as next year. Once this starts, the local governments will taste the benefits. The next advancement will be very fast." Lu Ligan said, "Okay, I understand, thank you Mr. Han." "No thanks, I still have some small ideas in this plan that I haven't included in it. When Lao Lu calls me, I will tell him. Otherwise, I don't have any face as a consultant. Of course, my suggestion is beneficial to both of you." As Mr. Han said, Lu Ligan understood. It seemed that Lao Tan's guess was correct. Xiao Zhang picked them up at Wanghai Tower and took them to the airport. Lu Ligan and Xiao Zhang said that Lao Tan and Er Huo have settled in Hangzhou. "Brother Zhang, if you have time, come to Hangzhou to play." Xiao Zhang said, "Yes, there are still a few brothers, and I will call them to go see the elder brother together." Xiao Zhang was in the airport lobby, watching Lu Ligan and the others pass the security check before turning and leaving. Fan Jiangguo drove Huda to Jianqiao Airport to pick them up. After getting in the car, Lu Ligan told Fan Jiangguo to go to Zhang Chen's place. Lu Ligan walked into Zhang Chen's office holding a box of coconuts. Zhang Chen cursed, "Why did you bring this crap back?" "Drink," Lu Ligan said. "Who comes back from Hainan and wants to drink coconuts?" Zhang Chen continued to curse, but he immediately understood that Lu Ligan was not given to him, nor to Xiao Zhao, but to Tan Shahen. If he wanted to give it to himself, Tan Shahen would not accept it, so he praised it. "Come to your office." "Okay, put it there." Zhang Chen pointed to the foot of the wall and said. Lu Ligan put down the coconut, took out the plan written by Mr. Han from his bag, and showed it to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen saw the entire plan, with text and tables, detailed content, and sufficient justification. He wrote down the entire plan. Seemingly lavish and watertight, Zhang Chen nodded. "Mr. Han, his reputation is not in vain." "Are you stupid? Is the Sichuan girl here?" "Why, after you've been out for a few days, do you miss her?" Zhang Chen asked. "Go away, let her copy it for me. Her handwriting is beautiful. I will send it to Lu Changcheng tomorrow. Then I'll find a better word for you." "Who? Is there any word that is more beautiful than Sichuan girl? You copied it yourself." "I'm too lazy to copy." He Hongmei walked in from the door, saw the coconuts on the ground, and shouted, "There are also coconuts here." Zhang Chen asked curiously, "You have them there too?" "Yes, the second-rate guy brought it. When he went there, we asked him to bring it with him." "Is this coconut really fake?" He Hongmei asked Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen said, "Of course it's true. Why does it taste so bad?" "It tastes like rotten sweet potato, and it's not white at all." Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan laughed, and Zhang Chen said, "Do you think the coconut juice poured out of the coconut is coconut juice? Shouldn't it be?" "Yes, when we ate it for the first time, we thought it should be like this." Zhang Chen stood up with a smile and said to Lu Ligan, "Let's go." "Where to go?" Lu Ligan asked. "Looking for beautiful words." "Well." They arrived at Zhang Chen's office in Sanbeo. Zhang Chen called Zheng Huiyang over, handed her the plan, and told her to print it out. There are also forms in it. Can you think of it? Zheng Huiyang looked at it and said, okay, how many copies are needed? Lu Ligan thought to himself that even if he wrote on carbon paper, he could only write 3 copies, so he told her 3 copies. Zhang Chen said, 10 copies. Lu Ligan was shocked, and Zheng Huiyang said yes. Zheng Huiyang walked out, and Lu Ligan asked, is it just her? Her handwriting is very good, better than the girl from Sichuan? Zhang Chen is right. Real or fake? You'll find out later if you wait. How long will it take for her to write? Zhang Chen thought for a while and told Lu Ligan that it would take about more than an hour. So fast? Lu Ligan was doubtful. He sat and chatted with Zhang Chen. He told him about the current situation in Haikan, as well as the scene when he saw Lao Xie, Li Yong set sail for their company, and the scene in his own company. After listening to this, Zhang Chen also very sad. More than an hour later, Zheng Huiyang came in with a stack of paper, handed it to Lu Ligan, and said to him, Mr. Lu, take a look and see if there is anything that needs to be modified. If so, circle it with a pen and I will correct it right away. Lu Ligan took it and took a look. It was a neat manuscript. It turned out to be a plan written by Mr. Han. It looked like it was typed on a typewriter, but it was much more beautiful than what was typed on a typewriter, and even better than Sitong's text. Everything printed by the processor must be beautiful. Lu Ligan asked Zheng Huiyang, did you hit this? Zheng Huiyang said yes. How did you type it? Lu Ligan asked. Zheng Huiyang felt that Lu Ligan's question was strange. She said that it was typed on a computer. Zhang Chen smiled and asked, isn't it more beautiful than the one written by the Sichuan girl? It's beautiful, even the chart is so beautiful. I'm going to see how you did it, Zheng Huiyang Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen scolded, you first check to see if there is anything wrong, others are waiting. Lu Ligan sat down with a sigh. It seemed that there were a few mistakes. Zheng Huiyang gave him the pen and he marked them out. He still drew a circle and dragged a line on the wrong words as he did before when he proofread the manuscript. Go to the edge and write the correct word in the margin. After proofreading, he handed the manuscript to Zheng Huiyang, and he and Zhang Chen also went to the distribution center. After Zheng Huiyang changed the manuscript on the computer, the printer buzzed and 10 copies were printed out quickly. Zheng Huiyang handed a floppy disk to Lu Ligan and told him that the manuscript is here. If you still need it, take this to a print shop and they can print it too. No, 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 Lu Ligan shouted, Zheng Huiyang, you have to help me buy a computer and this printer tomorrow. I will send Wen and Qian to you. You can teach them and let them learn how to do it, use a computer and type. Zheng Huiyang looked at Zhang Chen, and Lu Ligan scolded him, don't look at him. If he doesn't agree, you have to go, or I'll ask Lao Wan to tie you up. Zheng Huiyang groaned and her face turned red. Only then did Zhang Chen understand and asked, Zheng Huiyang, it turns out that you and Lao Wan. Why are you such a bureaucratic boss? You don't know how long it has been since everyone got well? Then why do you think Lao Wan didn't go home during the Spring Festival and Zheng Huiyang didn't go home either? Lu Ligan scolded. Zhang Chen laughed, so that's what happened, then this is a good thing, Zheng Huiyang, Lao Wan is good, but I don't agree with this matter tomorrow, I want to see how Lao Wan comes to tie him up. Zheng Huiyang sat there, so embarrassed that people were turning around, not knowing what to do, calling them Mr. Zhang and Mr. Lu, and they looked at her, but she didn't know what to say to them. Everyone else in the distribution center laughed. Zhang Chen quickly said it was okay, Zheng Huiyang, what's the point of being embarrassed about? Zheng Huiyang was so ashamed that she finally stood up and ran out. Zhang Chen was waiting in the office and heard the voices of Tan Shahen and Ji Ling talking from the design center next door. Knowing that she had come back from get off work, Zhang Chen walked to the door and called, Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen ran over, and Zhang Chen told her, "This box of coconuts is yours." Tan Shahen looked at him suspiciously and asked, "Where did it come from?" "The second-rate guy brought it to you. Didn't he just come back from hiking? You asked him to take it, Zhang Chen." Zhang Chen responded casually and said, "Don't you want to eat coconuts the most?" Tan Shahen smiled and said, "Thank you, Zhang Chen." She picked up a coconut, looked at it, and asked Zhang Chen, "How to eat this, peel it?" Zhang Chen said, "Go get a kitchen knife." Tan Shahen ran back to the room, took a kitchen knife and handed it to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen killed a coconut and cut out an eye with the blade of the knife. Seeing that there were no straws in the office, he took a disposable cup. After pouring half a cup, Tan Shahen couldn't wait to take it. After taking a sip, she spat the coconut water in her mouth to the door of the office with a pop sound. Tan Shahen frowned, looked at Zhang Chen and said, "Bad." Zhang Chen laughed and said, "No, coconuts are just like this. When Jin Lily first ate them, she thought they were bad, and we wanted to go find the coconut seller. It tastes so bad, why would anyone buy it?" Tan Shahen asked. Zhang Chen said, "Just drink it again." "Really, Tan Shahen, please take another sip." Tan Shahen put the cup between her lips, frowned, took a careful sip, slowly opened her brows, and said to Zhang Chen, "Zhang Chen, it doesn't seem to taste as bad as before." "Of course, come on, fill it up, and you'll get used to it after a few more sips. Besides, under the bright sun, this stuff really quenches your thirst." Tan Shahen brought the cup over, and Zhang Chen filled it for her. Tan Shahen drank it in one sip, and concluded that it was not that bad to drink, but it was not delicious. "I still like to drink coconut water." Tan Shahen put the cup on the coffee table, picked up the box of coconuts, and said to Zhang Chen, "Let's go." "Where to go?" Zhang Chen asked curiously. "Send it to Bai Bei and Nanan. These two little guys slept late and should still be awake now. Let them have a taste of something new." Zhang Chen said yes. The two of them went out. Zhang Chen took the coconut from Tan Shahen, got to the car, started the car. Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen said, "This coconut was actually bought by the Pole as a gift to you, but he did not dare to give it to him himself." "I know." Tan Shahen nodded. After a while, Tan Shahen smiled, "This coward." The car drove into the gate of Splendid Home and parked the car in the parking lot inside the gate. Zhang Chen did not get out of the car, but said, "Tan Shahen, sit down for a while, and I will tell you a story." Zhang Chen then told Tan Shahen about the boxes of coconuts under the bed with dates engraved on them. After saying that, both of them were silent. After a while, Tan Shahen said softly, "Let's go, it's very late." Zhang Chen sighed in his heart. The two people held coconuts and walked to the door of Zhang Chen's parents' house, only to find that the lights in the house were darkened and the elderly and children were asleep. Zhang Chen put the box of coconuts at the door of his house, and walked out with Tan Shahen. When they were almost walking to the parking lot, they met Xiao Zhao coming back. Xiao Zhao said to Zhang Chen, "I went to your office, I thought you were going. Where is it?" "It turns out that it is here." Tan Shahen said, "We came to deliver coconuts to Bai Bei and Nanan, and they brought back the second-rate goods." Xiao Zhao nodded. Zhang Chen told Xiao Zhao that I would send Tan Shahen back and she would be back soon. Xiao Zhao agreed. Tan Shahen said, "Or I can take a taxi back." Zhang Chen scolded, "It's just a little bit of road, a kick on the accelerator, what kind of car are you driving?" Xiao Zhao also said, "Sister Shahen, let him deliver it." "Well, thank you Xiao Zhao, thank you Zhang Chen," Tan Shahen said. Xiao Zhao stood there, watching Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen walk to Zhang Chen's car. The two got in the car and left. Xiao Zhao turned around and walked inside. She passed by the downstairs of her house. Instead of going upstairs, she continued forward until she reached the door of Zhang Chen's parents' house. In the darkness, she saw a cardboard box at the door. She reached out and touched it. The round ones are all coconut. Thank you to the 10,000 Years White Vote Party for the reward. Thank you for your monthly votes from Tianying 1978, Firewood Gatherer, May, and Lu. Thanks for all the reading and votes. Have a good night everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 862. In the afternoon, as soon as Lu Ligan got the plan printed by Zheng Huiyong for him, he told Zhang Chen that he wanted to go to Lu Chengcheng early the next morning. Zhang Chen asked him to wait. Lu Ligan said, "What are you waiting for?" "Mr. Han, everyone told me to move quickly." Zhang Chen scolded, "How did you scold Meng Ping in Nanjing? Have you forgotten it?" Lu Ligan was stunned for a moment, then chuckled, "You mean, I also want a rendering here?" "It's not a rendering, but a long scroll that shows the entire Gentian River after remediation. Only in this way can it be convincing. The text can explain the problem, but it cannot bring visual impact, and the stimulation of people's senses, it is the one that can most influence a person's decision," Zhang Chen said. "Which book did you read these remarks from?" Lu Ligan asked. "I summarized it myself. No. I haven't read a book for a long time, and I almost don't recognize the words," Zhang Chen said with a smile. "Okay, you summed it up very well, Zhang Chen, you are absolutely right. There is indeed a need for such a long scroll, especially for those old comrades whose eyesight is also poor. How can they read so many words and tables? There is a long scroll, open it and take a look. Wow, it's so damn beautiful." "This matter is settled," Lu Ligan said, quickly. "Do it quickly, can you win it tonight?" "Of course I can draw, but I can't doodle. I'm going to the library tomorrow to look up information on the Meisi River, especially the 18 bridges of different styles, to see if there are any records. Otherwise, when those experts saw it, instead of praising your project, they scolded you for your nonsense. Look at what time it is now. Is the library still open?" As Zhang Chen said, Lu Ligan thought it made sense, so he could only suppress his excitement and wait patiently. Zhang Chen came back from seeing off Tan Shahen, opened the door and went in. He saw Xiao Zhao sitting alone on the sofa, with the TV in front of her turned on, but she was obviously not watching TV. On the TV, there were already squares of the earth, and "Thank you watch," 4 words. Xiao Zhao looked a little lonely, and it could be seen that she hadn't taken a shower either. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Zhao, "What's wrong with you?" Xiao Zhao shook his head. Zhang Chen walked over and wanted to test Xiao Zhao's forehead with his hand to see if he had a fever. Xiao Zhao ducked away and said with a smile, "It's nothing, just a little tired." But this smile looked a little forced. Zhang Chen said, "Okay, then go take a shower and go to bed early." Xiao Zhao nodded. Zhang Chen went to the studio next door, took down a whole piece of lead drawing paper from the shelf, cut it in half horizontally, used glue to carefully stick the 2 pieces of lead drawing paper together, put it on the ground, and took out another piece of lead drawing paper. A piece of lead drawing paper was cut in half horizontally, the 2 pieces were glued together, and then this one and the one on the ground were glued together. Xiao Zhao walked in wearing a bathrobe, saw it, and asked, "What are you doing?" Zhang Chen told her, "I want to draw him a rendering of Ganz's Zhenshanhe project." "So long?" "Yes, 3 meters and 8 meters by 38 centimeters, the entire river has to be drawn into it." "It can't be that long," Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao came over and hugged Zhang Chen from behind. Zhang Chen asked, "Why haven't you showered yet?" Xiao Zhao's face blushed slightly and she said, "I want to wash it together." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, let's wash together." "You don't need to draw anymore," Xiao Zhao asked. "If you don't need it tonight, Just prepare the paper so that the seams can be completely dry tomorrow morning. I will go to the library to check the information before I start working on it tomorrow morning. Xiao Zhao smiled softly and opened his arms. Then you carry me over. Zhang Chen said, okay, let's go take a shower. He picked up Xiao Zhao sideways, and Xiao Zhao's hand hooked around Zhang Chen's neck. When he passed the studio door, Xiao Zhao reached out and pressed the switch beside the door, turning off the lights in the studio. The two of them were smeared with soap, and they were holding each other gently with their hands. Zhang Chen's hand reached from the front to Xiao Zhao's back, and when he was holding it for her, Xiao Zhao hugged him, and both of them were covered in soap. It's soap suds, greasy. Xiao Zhao pressed his face against Zhang Chen's shoulder and cried softly. Zhang Chen was shocked and asked quickly what happened. Xiao Zhao said, "Dear, I'm really afraid that we will be separated." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Idiot, your worries are unfounded, how can we be separated?" Xiao Zhao said, "Did you say we won't separate and don't cheat?" Zhang Chen nodded, "Okay, I won't cheat, and you are not allowed to cheat either. Honey, I just want us to be together like this." "Okay, let's be together like this. You have to be like this even when you are very, very old." "Okay, even if you are very old, you will be like this." Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, "What happened to you today? Why did you think of saying these things?" "Oh, can't I be sad, unhappy, or depressed?" Okay, but not now." Xiao Zhao chuckled, "I'm not sad anymore." The next day, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao woke up and sat on the bed. Zhang Chen still had to take the pen from the bedside table and finish the Zhang Chen watch that he had to complete every day. After finishing the drawing, the two of them got up, washed up, and went to work. Zhang Chen went to have breakfast at his parents' house. The two people walked to the door and saw Zhang Chen's father and three people squatting there, looking at the cardboard box. Seeing them coming, Zhang Chen's father said, "I don't know who put it here last night, or what it was." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "I put it here. Someone gave Nanan's mother a coconut. She brought it to you. We came here last night and you were already asleep. It turns out this is a coconut. Oh, I've thought about it, but I just didn't dare confirm it. Where can there be coconuts in Hangzhou?" Zhang Chen's father suddenly understood. Xiang Nan and Xiang Bei spread their hands, tilted their heads back, and laughed with exaggerated expressions. Xiao Zhao asked, "Why are you laughing?" Xiang Nan pointed to Zhang Chen's father and said to them, "Grandpa told us earlier that this must be taro, and he also said it was a new variety of taro." Zhang Chen's father said embarrassedly, "Grandpa has never seen a coconut, so I said, this taro will not be so green or so hard." Zhang Chen asked Xiangnan and Xiangbei, "Do you want to eat coconuts?" The two people nodded desperately, and Zhang Chen's father also nodded. Zhang Chen took a kitchen knife, killed a coconut, and broke a hole in the shell. Xiang Nan and Xiang Bei had already been waiting with their own small bowls. Zhang Chen gave them to both of them, and each of them poured it into his bowl. At 1 o'clock, watching the coconut water come out of the coconut, both of them were salivating. The two of them refused to stop holding the bowls. They both wanted Zhang Chen to pour a little more for them. Zhang Chen told them to finish drinking here first, and then I would pour another bowl for each of you. The two people looked at each other, clinked the small bowls, and then drank all the coconut water in the bowl. The smiles on their faces instantly solidified, their little eyes widened, and they looked at each other with their mouths pursed tightly. Tight. Xiao Zhao asked, "Does it taste good?" Xiangnan and Xiangbei looked at Xiao Zhao and then at Zhang Chen, and suddenly they both burst into tears. What happened? Zhang Chen's mother ran over, and Xiao Zhao said with a smile, it's okay, it's okay. I drank the coconut and cried." "You still cry after eating?" Zhang Chen's mother held up the coconut suspiciously, smelled it, and said, Doesn't it smell pretty good, with a grassy smell? Zhang Chen's father had already come over with a bowl and shouted, "I'll have a taste, I'll have a taste." Zhang Chen poured him half a bowl and said to him, "You'd better drink at the door." Zhang Chen's father rolled his eyes at him, but he still took the bowl and walked to the door. He stuffed a big mouthful into his mouth and immediately spit it out with a pop and cursed. "What's worse than 10 drops of water?" Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed. Xiang Nan and Xiang Bei also laughed happily when they saw their grandfather like this. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao finished breakfast and walked to the parking lot together. Xiao Zhao drove to the office on Tai Road. Zhang Chen specially brought a new sketchbook and drove to the Hangzhou Library on Huansha Road. He stayed there until past 10 o'clock, wrote and drew half of a sketchbook, and already had a clear impression of the Gentian River, the Meisi River in ancient times. Zhang Chen came out of the library, called Xiao Zhao, and told her that he would not go to the company today and would go home to paint. He needed the pole urgently and the painting was too big and required concentration. The company, there are too many people coming and going. Xiao Zhao said, "Okay, then I will call my mother and ask her to cook more dishes for lunch, and I will go home for lunch." Zhang Chen said yes. Zhang Chen returned home, sat in front of his workbench, opened the sketchbook page by page, and reviewed what was in his mind. He has already thought that this painting must be a long scroll that combines ancient and modern times. The foreground is the restored Meisi River, and the background is modern residential buildings. The focus of the whole painting is still the ancient part, which must be like the Qingming festival. Like the river scene, it unfolds a genre painting of an ancient street market. Of course, it mainly focuses on buildings and landscapes, and there will not be so many people. The ancient part must be accurately depicted to be convincing. After all, according to Mr. Han's definition, this should be a river of history and culture. Combined with modern architecture, it will also be a livable place in Hangzhou. A river, not a smelly river that everyone avoids. There are so many things that need to be traced, and the presentation of details must be precise. Zhang Chen thinks that the best way is to use colored pen drawings. Use a pen to draw the long scroll, and then add watercolor paint to complete the entire painting. The style is elegant and refined. Using a pen to draw line drawings is Zhang Chen's specialty. When he was a child, for a while, he was fascinated by the comic strips drawn by He Yuzi and copied many of them. There was no space on the workbench, so Zhang Chen simply spread the 4-meter-long piece of paper on the floor, took HB's pencil, and began to lightly outline the entire layout. Zhang Chen originally didn't need to make a draft when painting, but because the painting was too long and had too much content to express, he broke the rules and first sketched out the entire outline with a pencil. In particular, the location of the 18 bridges must be well arranged along the entire river. After the large outline is drawn, Zhang Chen can move to the workbench and draw small sections directly with a pen. The ancient river is shaded by green trees, with sparse flowers and trees, and rows of weeping willows. There are painted boats coming and going on the river, which are water buses. There are 18 bridges, including outrigger wooden beam bridges, outrigger stone beam bridges, wooden beams and wooden column bridges, and stone beams. Stone pillar bridges, stone beams and stone pier bridges, single hole and double hole arch bridges, covered bridges, cable bridges, and even bamboo strips and rattan bridges, each with its own shape. Both sides of the river are dotted with pavilions, and small platforms. There are various sculptures on the platforms, reflecting the customs, and life scenes of the ancient Meisi River. Those modern residences also have their own characteristics. They are close to Jifang Road, Qingchun Road, Fengqi Road, and Huancheng North Road. They use high-rise buildings to integrate with the original buildings of these streets. In the middle, according to the skyline, if necessary, there are small high-rises, townhouses, and even urban villa groups. Thank you to Dal Tin Soldier and RIRI Shushu for the reward. Thank you WXD121 for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Good morning to everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 863. Bang. 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 Someone knocked on the door. Zhang Chen thought it was Xiao Zhao who had come back. Without the key, he walked over and opened the door, but it was Lu Ligan standing outside the door. Lu Ligan shouted, "Let me take a look at my baby." He pushed Zhang Chen aside and walked in. He walked straight into Zhang Chen's studio and was shocked when he saw the paintings on the workbench. He shouted, "Awesome, Zhang Chen, is this going to be big? If it's too big, then I can shrink it 10 times, Zhang Chen followed up. No, 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 I support you if you enlarge it 10 times, but I won't do it even if you shrink it twice, Lu Ligan chuckled. Lu Ligan picked up the top part that Zhang Chen had already painted, and shouted, "Zhang Chen, if you do this again, I won't be able to give this painting to Lu Cheng. I want to post it in my own office." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Anyway, I only draw this one, nothing else. What you do with it is your own business." The phone rang in the living room outside. Before Zhang Chen went over to answer it, Lu Ligan said, "It's Xiao Zhao, let's go over and have dinner." "You came here with Xiao Zhao?" Zhang Chen asked. "Yes, otherwise how would I know you were hiding at home?" Zhang Chen walked over and picked up the phone. As expected, it was Xiao Zhao who asked them to go over for dinner. The two of them went out and went downstairs to Zhang Chen's parents' house. Zhang Chen saw that not only Xiao Zhao was back, but Hung Mei was also there. Zhang Chen smiled and said, Huo, lunch is busy today." Lu Ligan said that they were completely different things. "I came here for work, and this Sichuan girl came here just to make a living." Hung Mei said, "What's wrong?" Then asked Nanan and Bai Bei who they welcome more. Xiang Nan and Xiang Bei leaned on Hung Mei one on the other. After hearing what she said, they both raised their hands and pointed behind them. Lu Ligan shouted that the words of these two little traitors did not count. He said to Zhang Chen's father, "Uncle, who do you welcome more?" Zhang Chen's father asked, "Aren't you from the same family?" Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed, Hung Mei blushed, Lu Lepol shook his head and said, "Uncle, what do you look like?" Hung Mei glared at him and cursed, "With you? What a beautiful idea." Zhang Chen's mother came over, patted Lu Li on the back of the pole, and scolded, "You three poles are not worthy of meme." Lu Ligan sighed, "Why did I become mime again? It seems that my status here is getting lower and lower." Everyone sat down to eat. Xiao Zhao and Hung Mei helped make several dishes. Lu Ligan ate them with relish. Zhang Chen's mother asked, "Pole, is it delicious? Look at my Mei's craftsmanship. If you marry such a wife, your parents will not know how happy they will be." Zhang Chen's father said, "I don't know about the others, but Lao Lu must drink 2 more glasses of wine with every meal." Hung Mei blushed and hid behind Xiao Zhao. Zhang Chen looked at Lu Ligan and smiled. After eating, the 4 of them walked downstairs to Zhang Chen's house. Lu Ligan wanted to go upstairs with Zhang Chen, but Zhang Chen cursed, come on, if you go up there, you will be rude. It will affect my work. I will hide at home. I originally wanted to find a clean environment." Lu Ligan was dissatisfied and shouted, "How can I affect your work? You are helping me draw, how can I be so inconsiderate? You don't need anything, but you are short-sighted. Let's go. We all came here in your car. Do you want us to walk back?" While cursing, Hung Mei also came to push Lu Lepol. Lu Lepol was still reluctant to leave. Zhang Chen said, "If you leave me here alone, I can finish the painting in an afternoon. If you are here, it may be tomorrow. It's your choice. Lu Ligan quickly said, okay, I'll go then. Let's have dinner together in the evening. The Communist Army and the National Army also want to see your renderings. Zhang Chen nodded and went upstairs. Dinner was still at Tianxiang Tower, still in the big box. Lu Ligan specially called all the people who were dining that day. Zhang Chen came with the roll of renderings. Wen Wenqian and He Hongmei slowly opened the painting in the box. Everyone applauded. Chu Tianlin said, "This is the future Zhenshan He. If I were the mayor, I would tell you to do it quickly." Lu Bang and Lu Ligan, the founders of the Han Dynasty, said, "Before you send it away tomorrow, you must take a set with a camera, wash it out and give me a set. This one will definitely be gone if you send it up." Lao Tan also said, "Yes, our company keeps records, but we also need to take pictures and preserve them." Lu Ligan brought the plan and renderings and arrived at Lu Qinchin's office at 10 o'clock as agreed upon. He gave the plan to Lu Changcheng. Lu Changcheng looked at it, nodded repeatedly, and said to Lu Ligan, the plan was very good and well thought out. You told me last time, and I have also considered this matter. The entry point of the river of history, culture, and livability is very good. This is not just a matter of pollution control, but the reconstruction of a new urban landscape. And also provides a new and good living space for the citizens of Hangzhou. Our city of Hangzhou and Chengdu are also affected by the West Lake. There are too many treasures in their city, but they are all covered by the light of the West Lake. This Meisi River is so good that even I, who is in charge of city construction, don't know about it. It turns out that there is such a heavy history buried in that smelly river." Lu Changcheng saw that Lu Ligan also brought a scroll of paintings and asked, "What is this?" Rendering, Lu Ligan said. Look, show me quickly," Lu Changcheng shouted. Lu Ligan handed him the renderings. When Lu Changcheng unfolded it and took a look, he exclaimed, "Oh, this is a work of art in itself. Did Zhang Chen paint it?" Lu Ligan said yes. "Xiao Yan," Lu Changcheng shouted outside the door, and Secretary Xiao Yan walked in. The three people lifted the coffee table away and made a space in the office. They opened the renderings completely and used ink bottles, cup lids, staplers, calculators, air conditioner remote controls, glue, and other materials from the bookcase. Several books covered the whole painting, and then he straightened up and looked at it. Lu Changcheng kept nodding, and Xiao Yan asked, "Leader, where is this?" "Zhenshan River." No, Meisi River, you can't imagine it, can you? We not only want to restore the river to its original appearance, but also restore its name. Meisi River, what a good name, what a peaceful life. It would be great if it could be like this, Xiao Yan said. "I think it's great too," Lu Changcheng said. "Mr. Lu, I won't return this painting to you. I'll keep it with the plan." Lu Ligan quickly said yes. "You have done a good job in preparation. It seems that you are taking this matter very seriously. I hate those people who fish for 3 days and dry the nets for 2 days. When they see you, they talk about it and then it disappears. Mr. Lu, don't worry, if you are doing this seriously, I will also take it seriously." Lu Changcheng said. Lu Ligan quickly said yes, "Thank you to the leader." A week later, Lu Changcheng called Lu Ligan, who had been restless for several days. "Mr. Lu, are you in a hurry?" Lu Changcheng asked as the first sentence on the phone, as if he knew Lu Ligan's condition. Lu Ligan didn't hide it, and said with a smile, "I'm anxious, I can't sit still all day." Lu Changcheng laughed loudly and said, "Well, I won't beat around the bush anymore. Zhang Chen's renderings have caused a sensation in our place in the past 2 days and have been circulated one after another." Lu Changcheng told Lu Ligan that the municipal party committee and the city government had agreed in principle to their plan, and the municipal party committee also held a standing committee meeting for this purpose. Both the secretary and the mayor gave instructions on your plan. Next, we need to contact the province and relevant units along the river to seek their support and cooperation. Mr. Lu, I'm calling you to inform you that some preliminary preparations for your place can be started. Next, the city will set up a leading group for the improvement of Gentian River and hold a coordination meeting. You will, if you are invited to participate, you must be mentally prepared. Lu Chengcheng told Lu Ligan on the phone. Lu Ligan said, "Okay, boss, I will be ready according to the leader's requirements." After putting down the phone, Lu Ligan stood up and shouted, "Ah!" The people downstairs heard it and thought something had happened and hurriedly ran upstairs. Lu Ligan saw Fan Jiangguo, Ying Ying, and Wen Wenqian crowding towards the door, and asked curiously, "What are you doing?" The people who ran up looked at me and I looked at you. They were all confused. "What are you doing?" Wen Wen asked, "What did you just do?" Lu Ligan said it was okay, so I shouted. "Sure, you saw a ghost and you still shouted so loudly," Wen Wen scolded. Fan Jiangguo said, "I thought I was molested." Lu Ligan smiled, "I haven't seen the ghost, but the river god has appeared. The river god of Meisi River has appeared. Do you understand?" The people standing at the door shook their heads, expressing their confusion. Qian said, "You can't speak human language." "What I'm talking about is human language." Lu Ligan pretended to be calm and said, "Our plan to transform the Gentian River has been approved by the city government in principle." Ah, this time, the people standing at the door cheered. Lu Ligan then immediately called Zhang Chen, Lao Ten, Han Emperor Lu Bang and Chu Tianlin to tell the news. Then I called Mr. Han again. Mr. Han smiled on the phone and said, "I understand, Lao Lu has already called me." "Mr. Han, you can tell me now, what is your other little suggestion?" "Have you told Lu Chengcheng?" Lu Ligan asked. Mr. Han said, "Lao Lu told you that the Hangzhou city government will set up a leading group for the improvement of Gentian River, right?" Said. "In this leadership group, the mayor of Hangzhou city is the leader, Lao Lu is the first deputy leader, and I am one of the consultants of the expert advisory group. Under this leadership group, there is an office specifically responsible for daily work. Lao Lu, you are the director. I recommend you. You are also one of the deputy directors." I told Lao Lu that this project involves too many things in all aspects. If only one company comes forward, the work will be difficult. I suggest that you become the deputy director. This will facilitate the progress of the work. Lao Lu agreed with me. Suggestion. Gangzi, after the establishment of this office, your identity is both an official and a citizen, do you understand? You and the other 5 deputy directors, the director of Hangzhou City Urban Construction Bureau, the director of Land Management Bureau, the director of Water Conservancy Bureau, Shangcheng and Xiakan District, the district chiefs are equal. Thank you, Mr. Han, Lu Ligan said with a smile. There is smoke coming out of the grave of my old Lu family ancestors. Why do you still become an official when you look like you are almost old? Mr. Han laughed. This is a position, and it is also a responsibility. Do you think it is so easy to do it? If you become the deputy director, if Gentian River is not properly managed, you will be stabbed in the back. You will not do it in Hangzhou in the future. If you mess up, your credibility will be completely ruined, do you understand? Lu Ligan said seriously, I understand, Mr. Han. After all these calls were made, Lu Ligan's next step was the most important call. He called Mr. Chiao of Shenzhen Angzhen Trust and told him that he had a major project here and he wanted to discuss it with him as soon as possible. Mr. Yang talks. Mr. Chiao said, yes, we are preparing to go to Nanjing, so let's go to Hangzhou tomorrow and talk about the specific situation when we meet. Lu Ligan said yes. Everything is ready, and the east wind is coming. Lu Ligan looked at the map of Hangzhou on the wall and the light blue Gentian River. He smiled and nodded. From today on, our fates are tied together, said Lu Ligan and Zhen Shanhe. Thank you for the tip on the shore 131. Thank you Shifangxian, Tianying 1978, Reading Laoban, Lelijon, and Yu for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 864. Mr. Chiao and Mr. Yang arrived. In Lu Ligan's office, the two of them sat there with the plan in their hands, listening to Lu Ligan standing in front of the map and explaining the entire plan to them. Lu Ligan spoke very excitedly. After speaking, he looked at the two of them eagerly. Mr. Chiao asked, Mr. Lu, what is your funding requirement this time? Lu Ligan said, I want to enlarge the 80 million to 1 billion. Mr. Chiao stopped talking and looked at Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang and Lu Ligan said, Mr. Lu, we are all old acquaintances, and there is no need to go around in circles. To be honest, I am not optimistic about this project at all. We will agree to expand the size of your funds to 1 billion. What? Lu Ligan's heart skipped a beat. He was worried about everything, except that he had never been worried that Mr. Yang and his family would have financial problems here. Lu Ligan feels that this project itself is attractive enough. With a construction area of 2 million square meters, even if it costs 1,000 yuan per square meter, it will have a sales scale of 2 billion yuan. What's more, after the renovation of Gentian River, the houses there will, how can it be only worth 1,000 yuan a square? You have to know that this is the real city center, and it is a room with a view. 1 billion yuan is invested in the early stage. This is a very loose budget. If it is well controlled, the entire investment should not exceed this amount. Even if it exceeds 1 or 2 billion, this will still be a project with a high return on investment. Anyone with a discerning eye will see it. You will understand if you listen. Mr. Chiao and Mr. Yang, don't they understand? The most important thing is Mr. Yang. To Lu Ligan, he has always shown an attitude of, as long as you want it, no matter how much you want, the more the better, we will satisfy you. You know, it has always been them. They begged to give Lu Ligan a loan, including the 80 million, but Lu Ligan never wanted it. Later, when Lu Ligan wanted to pay it back, they still didn't agree. Therefore, Lu Ligan has always been very confident about this. He always feels that the difficulty in this matter lies with the Hangzhou city government. As long as the Hangzhou city government agrees, there will definitely be no problem with Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang, what did you say? Lu Ligan thought he heard wrongly and asked again. Mr. Lu, I'm not optimistic about your project. Let alone whether our industry will agree to it. I won't even report it. Mr. Yang looked at Mr. Chiao and continued, if I report it here, the industry will not agree. Not only will they not agree to this loan, they will also be worried about the 400 million in Nanjing and the 80 million in Mr. Liu's place. Why? Lu Ligan felt his head was buzzing, but he still asked blankly. It's very simple. The 400 million from Nanjing, plus the 80 million from Mr. Liu himself. It can be said that for Mr. Liu's company, we have reached the maximum scale of your credit. Fortunately, whether it is Mr. Liu's place or the Mr. Meng's project, funds have now begun to flow back, and the sales situation is very good, but as long as these two loans are not repaid, our risks will not disappear. Mr. Liu now wants to expand the scale to 1 billion. We can calculate it using the simplest arithmetic. Mr. Liu, your company's annual net income will not even be able to bear the capital cost of 1 billion. Am I right? How can it be? Lu Ligan said, but he felt guilty. Lao Tan had already calculated this that day and was indeed not 100% sure. Lu Ligan bet on this. In fact, when there was really no other way, he could use the principle of the money to pay part of the interest. Mr. Liu, if you want to make this loan, it will be a development loan for at least 5 years, right? If we don't go up, it will be based on the base interest rate of 58% to 14%. Mr. Lu, tell me, which one of you the project can generate a net profit of 1.5 billion a year, can it cover the capital cost of this amount? If you don't even have the ability to pay interest, will the risk of default and the risk of repaying the principal be immediately exposed? Lu Ligan argued, the principal repayment will of course depend on this project. The project itself will generate huge profits. Mr. Yang smiled and said, yes, what I said before is actually unnecessary when we may issue this loan. When it comes to this project, I am fundamentally not optimistic about it. So we don't even have the possibility to operate. Lu Ligan asked blankly, why are you not optimistic about this project? It's very simple. The risks are too great and there are too many uncontrollable factors. This is not a project we would choose to cooperate with, Mr. Yang said. Lu Ligan looked at Mr. Yang and then at Mr. Chiao. He was at a loss. He didn't know what else he could say or what he could say. He looked at Mr. Chiao helplessly. Mr. Chiao picked up a cigarette from the table, lit it himself, and after taking a few puffs, he said to Lu Ligan. Mr. Yang, maybe Mr. Lu doesn't quite understand that for their bank, as long as the risks of a project are controllable, no matter how high the risk is, they don't think it's a big problem. For example, let's take Mr. Meng's project. For example, for that project, the property rights are clear and the project approval procedures are complete. What are the most likely risks? Mr. Chiao asked Mr. Yang, can I say this? Mr. Yang nodded, and Mr. Chiao and Lu Ligan said, actually, Mr. Yang and I have discussed this issue. The most likely problem with Mr. Meng is that the progress of the project is not as expected, or that the return of funds is not as expected as Mr. Meng imagined. So his 400 million would probably not be enough, but the value of the building itself is much higher than 400 million. What if that happens? It's very simple. We will ask Mr. Meng to use his projects under construction and the company's equity as collateral. Even if we give him another 400 million, it will be no problem until his project is completed. Everything happens between us and Mr. Meng, and the external factors are very small, so the risks are controllable. Mr. Chiao put out the cigarette in the ashtray, picked up another cigarette, lit it himself, and took a few puffs. He looked at Mr. Yang and said to Lu Ligan. As for your project, my opinion is slightly different from Mr. Yang's. That is, I personally think it is a good project. Mr. Liu's ideas, including the design of the entire project, can be said to be very bold, very creative, and refreshing. Get the land first, then find ways to increase the value of the land itself, and then develop it. Haha, Mr. Lu, can the whole step I mentioned be summarized simply like this? Lu Ligan nodded, and he also admitted that this was his starting point. As for this river and that river, it was not only for the need to increase the value of the land, but more importantly, for the need to obtain land. Mr. Chiao nodded, I must admit, this is very imaginative. This is why I am optimistic about this project. It may also be the reason why I am more radical and Mr. Yang must be cautious from the perspective of their bank. Mr. Yang is right. While your project has promising prospects, it also has huge risks. The most important risk is external risks, which are unpredictable and uncontrollable. Mr. Yang, is that correct? Mr. Yang nodded. Lu Ligan was unconvinced and said, why are the risks of my project so uncontrollable? Mr. Chiao smiled slightly and said, it's very simple. To start this project, it needs to be approved by the Hangzhou city government in a document. Am I right? Lu Lepole nodded. Is it possible for the government to issue another document, suspend this project, or change the direction of the entire project? Mr. Chiao asked. Lu Ligan was stunned for a moment, and finally he could only nod. Whether you are an enterprise or our financial institution, the relationship between us and the government is always a relationship between superiors and subordinates. The government can give us guidance, but we cannot change the government's decisions. Lu boss, am I right? Mr. Chiao asked. Lu Ligan nodded. Of course, there was no doubt about it. Your entire project has such a long cycle, and there are too many things that will happen in the meantime. The simplest thing is that if it is due to the personnel adjustment of the Hangzhou city government, or the central government's major policy changes, or the changes in local regulations, it is very likely that change the fate of this project. To put it at the extreme, even if this project is still going on, the government needs to cancel your company's subject qualifications or change the content of the project due to new policies and regulations. Mr. Lu, tell me, what can you do? At that point, at that time, can you change the decision of the local government? Whether it is you or us, we can only passively accept it, right? As Mr. Chiao said, Lu Ligan felt a chill in his heart. He had to say that the possibility that Mr. Chiao mentioned existed. If that day came, he would really have no other choice but to passively accept it. As for Mr. Yang and Mr. Chiao, when they considered it from this perspective, the risk of this loan suddenly became apparent. Although Lu Ligan felt that the possibility of this happening was very low, and it was impossible for the local government to say even if orders change overnight, they must also administer according to the law, but for financial institutions, they will always exaggerate the risks as much as possible. Only in this way can they reduce their risks. Those companies that have loans from banks cannot withstand any disturbance. Once you have any disturbance, the bank will determine that your operations are abnormal. The first thing they will think of is to collect money. Loan. Lu Ligan thought of everything, but he did not expect that Mr. Yang and Mr. Chiao would look at the risks of this project from this perspective out of professional instinct. Mr. Lu, your project is good. If you run it well, it will be a good project. But for us, it is just a castle on the sand because its foundation is built on high risks. Mr. Chiao said that this was a fundamental rejection of the project. Mr. Yang looked at Lu Ligan and then said, Mr. Lu, of course, our bank is not without interest or possibility to enter this project, but it is definitely not now. When will that be? Lu Ligan asked. When your real estate project starts construction, we are still interested in participating in the development and assuming the mortgage business, Mr. Yang said. Damn it, Grandma, Lu Ligan almost cursed, you just came to pick up something ready-made, right? Until then, do I still need you? Mr. Chiao and Mr. Yang stood up to say goodbye. Lu Ligan didn't even know how they got out. He sat there blankly, and a voice in his heart kept saying, it's over, Lu Ligan, your done. Your end has come. Such a big bubble has been blown up, but now, you have to pop it yourself. Lu Ligan remembered Mr. Han's words, you should stop messing around in Hangzhou, your credibility is completely bankrupt. Fan Jiangguo and the others heard a loud bang from upstairs. They hesitated for a moment, thinking, could it be the story about the boy who cried wolf? But they still went upstairs, and what they saw in front of them shocked them. They saw Lu Ligan sitting there with a livid face. On the ground was a computer monitor that had just been bought a few days ago, and it was already cracked. On the wall, the map of Hangzhou was smashed into a hole by the display screen, and even the wall behind was smashed into a hole. Thank you to Laughing and Running Y for the tip. Thank you to the Sample Thief and Book Friend 2019010420175831 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the reading and votes. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 865. Zhang Chen received a call from Fan Jiangguo and rushed over immediately. He walked to the second floor and saw Wen Wen and Qian sitting on the sofa in the reception area on the second floor. These two people were usually very arrogant, but here they were. At that time, they were also frightened. with panic on their faces and uneasy hearts, not knowing what to do. Seeing Zhang Chen coming up, the two of them felt relieved and quickly stood up. They followed Zhang Chen into Lu Ligan's office. Zhang Chen looked at the scene inside and told them to clean up the place quickly. The two people said oh and quickly moved the broken monitor out. They used brooms to sweep up the plastic and glass fragments on the floor. After sweeping, they hurried out. Lu Ligan held his head in his hands, rested his hands on his desk, and sat there motionless. Zhang Chen sat down opposite him and asked, "What's wrong? What happened?" Fan Jiangguo and the others didn't know what happened. They only knew that after Mr. Chiao and Mr. Yang came out of Lu Ligan's office, Lu Ligan didn't explain how they should be arranged. Ying Ying made her own decision and took them to the hotel diagonally opposite. "Live here first." Fan Jiangguo and the others heard the noise, ran upstairs and saw the shocking scene, but no one knew why. Fan Jiangguo knew that something big must have happened, so he called Zhang Chen. On the phone, Zhang Chen asked him what happened. He couldn't tell, so he could only tell Zhang Chen that Lu Ligan was crazy and smashed things in the office. Lu Ligan lowered his head and kept shaking it. Zhang Chen continued to ask, "What's the big deal?" Lu Ligan finally raised his head, looked at Zhang Chen, and smiled bitterly. "It's not a big deal, Zhang Chen, it's just that I'm hummed." Zhang Chen saw that his eyes were a little red and his face was ugly. Fan Jiangguo told him that Mr. Chiao and Mr. Yang had just arrived. Zhang Chen guessed it and asked, "Is there a problem with Mr. Yang's funds?" Lu Lipol nodded. Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. "Is this all a big deal? I thought something big had happened." Lu Ligan looked at him and asked, "Isn't this a big deal?" "Zhang Chen, I'm done." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Zhang Chen scolded. "Isn't it just a loan? This project will be done if you have money, and if you don't have money, don't do it. If you have more money, do it with less money. What's the big deal? I still want to fill the Pacific Ocean, but I don't have enough money. Are you really stupid or are you pretending to be stupid? Do you think I still have a way out?" Lu Ligan said. "Now that things have happened, is this something I can just say I won't do? Why is there no way out?" Zhang Chen really didn't understand. "I went to Lu Changcheng to find this matter. I gave him the plan. He immediately reported it to the Municipal Party Committee and the municipal government. The Municipal Party Committee also held a standing committee on this and agreed to my plan. The secretary and the mayor also. I made special instructions in the plan, but now I say that this can't be done because I have no money. Am I slapping myself in the face or Lu Chencheng's face?" When Lu Ligan said this, Zhang Chen realized the seriousness of the matter. There was really no way out. He had teased Lu Changcheng so hard. Even if the deputy mayor is magnanimous and doesn't care about you, you are in Hangzhou by yourself. It's hard to get along, because the people in the relevant departments under him know that you have conflicts with Vice Mayor Lu, and they take the initiative to flatter you and make things difficult for you. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said, "Yes, then you are dead. Yes, prepare to collect the body. No, pork is still edible, but you and I have no use for it." Lu Ligan cried sadly and said to Zhang Chen, "Zhang Chen, damn it, it's a small matter to be embarrassed. I really think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I won't accept it. If you chop off one of my hands, who can kill me?" When this project started, really, I changed it immediately without saying a word. Zhang Chen thought for a moment and asked, "Are Mr. Chiao and Mr. Yang still in Hangzhou?" Lu Ligan shook his head. "I don't know, he should still be there." "See where they live, I'll go talk to them," Zhang Chen said. "You go, what's the point of going?" "I'll go and tell them, I'll guarantee you. Isn't that okay?" "Are you sick?" Lu Ligan scolded. "When I came to do real estate, how did we agree? You're the only one who's humming sick. How long have you been, and you're still pretending to be fat?" Zhang Chen scolded back. If their money doesn't come back, do you have any other options? Even if you can, you won't do it. I will be here like a plague chicken. Besides, I am also optimistic about this project. Why do you have such no confidence in yourself and think you will lose money? The two were silent for a while, and Lu Ligan sighed, your guarantee ability is still not enough. How much did you borrow? Zhang Chen asked. 1 billion. What about a smaller loan? A loan of 400 million to 500 million yuan. Last time I gave Mengping a guarantee. Didn't I say that I could lend 400 million yuan? If they give you 400 million yuan here, then the difference between my money and your money will be it's not much, right? Besides, you don't have to spend all of it this year. How much more you need next year, we will pay as we earn, Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said. Thank you, Zhang Chen, really, thank you, Lu Ligan said, but this time is different from Mengping last time. Even if it is 400 to 500 million, they will not lend. Why, it's not all loans, what's the difference? Zhang Chen didn't understand. As for Mengping, they are optimistic about that project and feel that the risks of putting money into that project are controllable. If you ask me to guarantee it, it is just an extra layer of guarantee. This time, they don't even have the project, it's not promising, so the prerequisite for the loan is gone. Even if there is a guarantee, it's useless. Then Mr. Yang said that he won't even report it. The two people were talking when Lao Tan and Han Jiaozulu Bang came. Lao Tan asked Lu Ligan what was going on. Lu Ligan told them, and Han Jiaozulu Bang cursed. I think these Hong Kong people are short-sighted. I think they were fooled by the British. They don't know that in Chinese society, you can only make a fortune if you have good political and business relations. In Taiwan, if you don't have political and business relations, you can't make any money. That Awan opens a clothing store and has to be protected by a congressman. They are right to think so, Lao Tan said, the money is theirs, and of course they will measure it according to the standards and conditions they think are feasible. The problem now is that we are riding a tiger and can't get off, and all the arrows have been shot. How can you take back the pole without consulting them in advance? They kept telling me beforehand that they would give me any amount of money I needed. It was them who asked me for a loan, not me who asked them for a loan. I asked for our 80 million to be repaid several times, but they refused. Ask me to help you and don't pay it back. How do I know they won't agree when I really need the money? Lu Ligan said with a bitter smile. You don't know, this bank has two faces. When he needs you, he has one face, and when you need him, he has another face. This overseas bank is even more so, Lao Tan said. Zhang Chen looked at the broken map on the wall and said, Pole, don't we only need more than 200 million to renovate the Gentian River? We have the money ourselves, so we can start working on it first. We will think of ways to deal with what is needed later. The worst is to destroy the entire. It will take a little longer to complete the project. No, before Lu Ligan said anything, Lao Tan denied it. He said, the good thing about this plan is that before the renovation of the Gentian River begins, the land on both sides will be included in the entire project and all will be purchased first. If you renovate the river first, then when the river is renovated, the value of the surrounding land will increase. If anyone is willing to sell the land to you, even if they agree, it won't be the same price. That will really benefit the people. What I can get is probably the Hangzhou city government erecting a monument by the river. Thank you, Lu Ligan said with a wry smile. Zhang Chen understood that the difficulty in this matter is that if you want to get benefits, you must invest so much in the early stage, otherwise you will not be able to control the situation later. And to achieve this, the biggest problem is not to improve the river channel, but to acquire land first. To acquire such a large area of land, your own money plus Lu Ligan's money is far from enough. Zhang Chen's big brother rang and he picked up. It was Mengping. Mengping asked on the phone, Zhang Chen, where are you now? Something happened at the pole. Do you know? I'm right here at the pole, and Lao Tan is also here, Zhang Chen said. By the way, Meng Ping. How do you know about the pole? Old Chiao called me, Zhang Chen, and I was on my way to Hangzhou, Meng Ping said. Old Chiao asked me to tell Ganza that he himself is very optimistic about Ganza's project. I was with Mr. Yang earlier. At the same time, it was not convenient for him to say. He said he would contact the Chaozhou people, and it might not be able to meet the needs of the pole, but it should be able to provide part of it. That's great, Meng Ping. Tell the pole not to worry. We'll discuss it when I get there. Let's all come up with a solution together, Meng Ping said. Okay, Meng Ping. Everyone heard Meng Ping's call. Zhang Chen hung up the phone. Han Emperor Lu Bang asked Lu Ligan, had the photos of the renderings been developed? Lu Ligan said, it's washed out. He took out a thick paper bag from the Keikyou store from the drawer and handed it to Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, picked out a set and laid them out one by one on the table. After confirming that there was nothing missing, he collected it. When he got up, he told Lu Ligan to give me a copy of the plan. Lu Ligan took out the plan from the drawer and handed it to Lu Bang, the emperor of Han dynasty. He looked at him and wondered what he wanted to do. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said, what my friend just said is right. Let's think of a way. Even if the arrow is shot, there is a way to catch it. There is a way to recapture the captured position. I will go back to Taiwan right away. I still have a few rich friends in Taiwan. Okay, I'll give it to you, Lao Tan said. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, walked over and patted Lu Ligan on the shoulder, and then walked out with Lao Tan. Zhang Chen stood up, took off the broken map from the wall, and cursed, it's a good map to provoke you. Do you want to do such a cruel thing? Thank you to Dal Tin Soldier, reading books every day, and on the shore 131 for the rewards. Thank you Jo Suihua, Tianying 1978, Bailiang, and user 0032-220-4577 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 866. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, caught the plane to Hong Kong that day and transferred back to Taipei the next day. In the evening, Meng Ping arrived. When Meng Ping arrived, Lu Ligan came to his senses and asked, where are Mr. Chiao and Mr. Yang? Where did they go? Meng Ping scolded, you just remembered it now. Then Lao Chiao said that if Mr. Yang doesn't lend you a loan, they feel that they have been kicked out by you. Fortunately, there is a little girl below you who is more sensible than you, so all the arrangements have been made, and I should be having dinner with them at this time. Lu Ligan chuckled, didn't I get knocked unconscious by one of their sticks? When Lao Tan sent Lu Bang back, the four of them didn't even bother to eat dinner. They immediately sat down to discuss the matter. Meng Ping also agreed with Lao Tan. Now that the arrow has been shot, there is no way to take it back. However, according to his experience shows that the Hangzhou city government will be very fast, but the actual progress of things will not be that fast, and it is likely to get stuck. Why? Zhang Chen asked. There are too many units involved on both sides of the river. On the surface, these units will definitely express strong support for the actions of the Hangzhou city government, but privately, they are not active. Who among these external units is willing to occupy more and more territory in Hangzhou? The smaller? Moreover, these units are all units that are not short of money and do not care about the money from selling land. For these units, they have another advantage, that is, they all have reasons and conditions to push up the levels, and the higher the level, the more difficult it is for the city government to do its work. For example, here at the train station, they can push the Shanghai Railway Bureau. If they find the Shanghai Railway Bureau, they can push it to the Ministry of Railways, Zhejiang 1 and Zhejiang 2. They can push Zhejiang Medical University, and Zhejiang Medical University can push the Ministry of Education. One up and one down. Going back and forth, a month passed quickly, so there was still time left for us to find money. These units will definitely look at each other. No one wants to be the first one to sign a contract. So, Pol, as long as you don't take the initiative and find a breakthrough, this matter will still be a thing. If it doesn't reach the point of imminence, what we need to do now is to continue to look for money on the one hand, and on the other hand, the Hangzhou city government must show a very positive attitude. Meng Ping said. Everyone nodded, and Lao Tan asked, what's the worst case scenario? We can't all think about the good, but also the worst, that is, what if these units along the river will be destroyed soon? I agree, what should I do? Then let's pool all the money and buy the land first. Don't leave out any land on both sides. We must buy it all. If we can't pay the full payment, then we have to talk to them and pay the deposit or part of the payment first, and then conclude the agreement. Sign it first and put up the whole frame first. Fortunately, you have your own construction team. Let your construction team come in and start working first. We will still find money while working. Meng Ping said that Lao Tan had a question in his mind. He said that if this was the case, would the risk be too great? He was looking for money while working. If the money was not secured, he would be very passive. No, we are not paupers now, and we can still figure out a way. When I return to Nanjing, I will find a few units to make contact first. Some units have had this intention and want to acquire my project as a whole. In the worst case, I will sell the building. After repaying Mr. Yang and their money, there will still be hundreds of millions left, Meng Ping said. Zhang Chen also said, I can use my M-zone to make mortgage loans. I don't have to find anyone else to do it. I can directly go to my own bank to do it. It should be easy, right? It's not easy. You don't have to think about your mortgage loan, Meng Ping said. Why? Zhang Chen asked. If you want a mortgage loan in your market, the bank will require the merchants who rent your store to sign and give up their relevant rights. How much work and difficulty is this job? And after you do this, rumors will definitely spread, which will affect your market. The impact is huge. I should come here to find a way, sell that project, and half of the money should be available, Meng Ping said. Then I can give you a discount and collect the rent for the next 2 years in advance. The merchants below will definitely welcome it. In this way, I can get an additional 80 or 90 million. I can make up more than 300 million, plus it's just your own money that goes up to the pole. Yes, that's okay, Meng Ping agreed with Zhang Chen. You think it's okay, but I think it's not okay. What do you mean, dragging both of you down for my own project? Then I'd rather pull it down and stop doing it. Lu Ligan looked at Meng Ping and Zhang Chen, and continued, Zhang Chen, if you do that, how much less rent will you charge in a year? According to the agreement, it should increase by 10% every year. In this way, not only will you not increase it, but you will also decrease it. How much will you lose over time? Meng Ping, how much will you lose if your project is sold as a whole now? You spent 1.5 years in jail for that project. Haha, what are you afraid of losing? Meng Ping said with a smile, if you don't calculate what should be earned, there will be no problem of losing. There was no money in the first place, but now you can make hundreds of millions more. Isn't this earned? Stop humming, trying so hard, Zhang Chen scolded. If this project doesn't continue, how can you still stay in Hangzhou? If you can't stay in Hangzhou, where will you go? Back to Yongchang? No, is it just money? Meng Ping is right, this money, regardless of what should be earned, even if it goes into the pocket, whatever it is earned. Lao Tan and Lu Ligan said, "Isn't this not to that level yet? We are just considering the worst case scenario now. We can survive this worst case scenario, so there is nothing to be afraid of. You can not worried. Yes, just as always, continue to sing your high-pitched tune and continue to be the deputy director of your Gentian River Improvement Leading Group office. At this time, you must not show your cowardice. Once you show your cowardice, all your previous efforts will be wasted. Do you understand, Pol?" Mengping warned. "In our case, I will tell Ying Ying tomorrow that we will find ways to clear out the splendid Xiangting and splendid Jiangnan projects as soon as possible, even if we make less money." Lao Tan and Lu Ligan said, "Also, I asked Lao Wan to gather all the people, including those at the Peach Blossom Spring construction site, to relocate and demolish the rubber factory in Hangcheng, and strive to complete the land leveling this month. The drilling can be carried out first, and sales can start as soon as construction starts there next month, so we can reserve more cash. I estimate that tomorrow, the Hangzhou city government will notify you to attend a meeting. Ganzi, your job is to focus on dealing with that side. I have been in Hangzhou these 2 days. I will also keep an eye on Lao Jiao's place and try to get him to Chaozhou people, come here early," Mengping said. The three people were talking to each other one by one. Gradually, the things that Lu Ligan felt were scary and desperate were no longer so scary and desperate. Seeing that the road that had come to an end, it seemed that there was still the possibility of continuing. "Let's go and eat. I'm starving. Aren't you hungry?" Mengping asked. Only then did the others feel that they were also hungry. The next day, Secretary Yan called Lu Ligan, and Lu Ligan went to Lu Chengcheng's office. Lu Chengcheng told him about the municipal government's establishment of a leading group for the improvement of the Gentian River and the office of the leading group. He told Lu Ligan, he is one of the deputy directors of the office. Lu Ligan quickly expressed his thanks. Lu Chengcheng and Lu Ligan emphasized that although there are 6 deputy directors, you are the one who is actually responsible for daily affairs and daily work. The other deputy directors will only get involved when their scope of authority is involved. In this way, tomorrow morning, I will host the first meeting of our office, and you and the others will also get to know each other and show their faces, haha, among them, you are the only new face to them. Tomorrow afternoon, Xiao Yan has already announced that the first mobilization and coordination meeting will be held in the conference room of our city hall. The units along the river will send people to participate, and you have to show your face in front of them. Next, it's a very arduous and even painful job, so you have to be mentally prepared. These people are easier to deal with in the provincial departments. The provincial government has stated that it will fully support our rectification work and requires the provincial units to cooperate. The key is those external units. They are all difficult to deal with. Lu Ligan said, "Leader, I understand, I will definitely work hard." Lu Ligan was sitting in Lu Chengcheng's office. On the surface, he still looked very excited, but in fact, he was in a completely different state of mind than the previous few times he came here. In the past few times he came, he was looking forward to Lu Chengcheng's place. "I want to be able to make a final decision right away, but now, I hope it will be a little slower, preferably a little slower. There is still no news about Mr. Chiao's Chaozhou people and the Han Emperor Lu Bang. Lu Ligan doesn't want to be forced to do it right away. He needs Mengping to sell his project and Zhang Chen to collect the rent from the merchants in advance and spend all his money. If so, Lu Ligan felt that his project would be like stepping on their corpses. This was very different from Lu Ligan's original intention of doing this project. Lu Ligan felt that this was a burden he could not bear. The next day, the office meeting of the Gentian River Improvement Leading Group office was polite, but it was Deputy Mayor Lu who once again emphasized the importance of improving Gentian River. The highlight was Lu Changcheng introducing Lu Ligan to everyone and asking everyone, be sure to assist Xiao Lu in his work. Xiao Lu also humbly greeted all the participants and exchanged business cards. The coordination meeting in the afternoon was just as Meng Ping expected. When Lu Changcheng finished his mobilization report and asked the units along the river to strongly support our Hangzhou city government's Zhenchen River improvement work, everyone applauded warmly. It was each unit's turn to express their position. At that time, everyone emphasized the necessity and importance of regulating the Zhenchen River. Then everyone said that their unit would definitely support the rectification work and would bring back the spirit of the meeting and report it to their superiors immediately. Of course, we would also express our firm support to our superiors. Please rest assured, Deputy Mayor Lu. Only the person in charge of the Provincial Second Light Corporation asked, if we want to transfer the land through agreement, how will the price of the land be calculated? Lu Changcheng told him that we will ask the appraisal agency to make an appraisal price based on the current situation of the land. Everyone will use this appraisal price as a reference. Of course, we still hope that everyone can understand our difficulties and the huge investment in renovation. Enterprises, hold your hands high. Why is the assessment based on the current status of the land instead of the situation after remediation? Asked the person in charge of the Provincial Second Lighting Corporation. Lu Changcheng glanced at him dissatisfied and asked, then you will share the cost of the renovation? If you can share the cost of the renovation, then yes, there is no need for companies to participate, just our city government can do it directly. The other party said something back, how much does it have to do with us whether we should rectify it or not? After so many years, it has all gone down. Lu Changcheng looked at him, feeling a little annoyed. He didn't expect that the person who would make trouble at the meeting was his provincial unit. Lu Changcheng said, you don't live in the city? Are you not a citizen of the city? Whether it is renovated or not has nothing to do with you. You can say such a thing, so let me ask you, do you share in the current pollution? The wastewater in your sewers is where does it go? Do you want me to ask the Environmental Protection Bureau to show you the amount of sewage discharged every day? I have already asked them to monitor it every day. Lu Changcheng's words silenced the other party, and everyone else looked at their conversation with a smile as if it had nothing to do with them. Lu Changcheng scanned the venue, raised his voice, and said, I would like to emphasize again that the renovation of the Zhenchen River this time is the same as the renovation of the West Lake. Our municipal party committee and government are determined to promote it. If necessary, we will reduce the daily sewage discharge volume of units along the river. The news media announced it and let the people of the city supervise you until the day the project starts. Thank you Xiaomu0181, Kanyu.yun.u, and the third one from top to bottom for the reward. Thank you for your monthly ticket and have a safe journey. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. There was something wrong with my computer today, so I had difficulty writing. I apologize if there is no third update. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 867. Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han Dynasty, called Lu Ligan. From the background voice, Lu Ligan knew he was in the KTV box. Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han Dynasty, said to Lu Ligan, Brother Lu, I will leave from Taipei to Hong Kong early tomorrow morning. 3 good friends went with me, and we arrived in Hangzhou around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, tell me the flight number. Lu Ligan was shocked and said quickly. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han Dynasty, told Lu Ligan the flight number from Hong Kong to Hangzhou. By the way, Brother Lu, let Zhang Chen have dinner with you tomorrow. I have a good friend here who likes Zhang Chen's paintings very much. I must meet him. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han Dynasty, and Lu Ligan said, yes, I will ask Zhang Chen to pick you up at the airport together tomorrow. By the way, I heard Lao Tan say that your friend who is building the tallest building in the mainland is also in Hangzhou. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, asked in a low voice. Lu Ligan was right. Let him have dinner together tomorrow. Lu Ligan said yes. He knew the intention of Han Emperor Lu Bang, which was to show his strength to the other party, so that the other party would not dare to underestimate him. After hanging up the phone, Lu Ligan immediately told Zhang Chen and Meng Ping the news. Meng Ping was in Zhang Chen's office. Both of them were very happy to hear it. Meng Ping said, "You and I will pick them up at the airport. There is no need to go to Zhang Chen's broken car, just let him go directly to eat." Lu Ligan laughed and said, "Okay, this bastard has been scolded for many times and he refuses to change his car. Meng Ping, please enlighten him." I enlightened him and he agreed to change the car, Meng Ping said. Real. He agreed to switch to Xiao Zhao's car. He said that Xiao Li sometimes went out to play and had to take 2 children and 2 elderly people with him. It was indeed a bit crowded. I go. The dinner the next day was served in the building outside the building. The guests brought by Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, were 2 men and 1 woman. One of the 2 men was a biotechnology company, and the other was a contract manufacturer. The woman, surnamed Cai, was in her 40s and looked very kind. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, introduced her as a director of a financial holding company in Taipei. She liked Zhang Chen's paintings very much and wanted to meet Zhang Chen. Moreover, she was the one who encouraged several others to come to Hangzhou for a visit. She had the same idea as Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, and believed that Taiwan's future lies in the mainland. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, quietly told Zhang Chen and others that there was actually another person, but his identity made him a little afraid of coming to the mainland. He entrusted all matters to Miss Cai. Lu Ligan didn't understand, and asked Lu Bang, the emperor of Han dynasty, "Why is it inconvenient for your friend to come to the mainland?" Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, smiled and whispered to them that the color of his home was just like Brother Tan's car. Lu Ligan and the others understood. Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, said with a smile, "These people, usually like loud voices, are actually vulgar, but they will grab everything that is beneficial." MSCAI is very interested in the building Meng Ping is building. She told Meng Ping that they are in Taipei and 14 good friends are planning to build a financial holding building, Taipei 101. Once built, it will be the first in the world. The tall building is only a little shorter than the Toronto TV tower, but it is not a building, it can only be said to be a building. Everyone chatted casually during the meal. MSCAI seemed to be very familiar with Hangzhou. She knew that the building outside this building was past Shangri-La, and beyond that, walking to the left, was the Huagong Hotel. When Miss Cai mentioned the Huagong Hotel, Lu Ligan's heart trembled. It was a financial holding company again. Lu Ligan immediately thought, could Miss Cai be the person Alien was talking about? If it was her, of course she would be interested in this place. Very familiar. Lu Ligan looked at her, and the more he looked, the more he felt that it was that person, but he also felt that the world could not be so small, and things could not be so coincidental. Lu Ligan asked, "MSCAI seems to be very familiar with Hangzhou. Do you come here often?" Miss Cai smiled and answered the question, "I like Hangzhou very much, so when I saw Mr. Zhang's painting, I liked it so much that I wanted this painting. Brother Lu told me that this painting should be handed over now it was given to the government, and I still felt sad for a long time." Another guest said, "We are here this time just as arranged by Director Cai." Obviously, this means that among the 3 of them, the one with the decision-making power this time is Miss Cai. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "If Miss Cai likes it, I can draw a panoramic view of the West Lake and give it to you." "Really? Really? Mr. Zhang, thank you." If so, I will definitely hang it in my office in 101 from now on, Miss Cai shouted. After dinner, they first went to the Ban Mu Tien women's lifestyle flagship store on Yan'an Road in Zhongchen. When they heard the word Ban Mu Tien, Miss Cai looked at Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty. Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, and Miss Cai said, "Yes, Awan. The clothes in the store come from my little brother." "Really? Then I must go and have a look. Mr. Zhang, I bought a lot of your clothes in Taipei and I like them very much," Miss Cai said to Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen quickly said thank you. They arrived at the Ban Mu Tien specialty store. A few men had nothing to do, so they sat on the patio on the first floor to drink tea. Tan Shahen led Miss Cai around the store. Halfway through, Miss Cai came over and asked the two men to come too. "Go and buy clothes for their wives, and tell them that you can just tell Miss Tan about your wife's situation, and she will help you make the best choice." Tan Shahen helped each of them choose some clothes. Zhang Chen wanted to give them to them, but Miss Cai insisted not to give them. She said that you must buy the clothes yourself, so that you will cherish them and treat them well. The clothes they bought were all put in Tan Shahen's place, and they would be sent to the hotel tomorrow. The group of them continued to see Zhang Chen's dynamic zone, and also went to the sports hall on the roof to see the badminton and table tennis players. The basketball player finally sat in the outdoor cafe in the rooftop garden. MSCAI said with emotion, "Mr. Zhang, your project feels disconnected from the city." "How do you say that?" Zhang Chen didn't understand. "That's right, your projects are ahead of the curve in the city and are very fashionable." When Miss Cai said this, everyone understood. The next day, we visited Lu Ligan Company in the morning, Jingxiu Homeland, Jingxiu Xiangting, and Jingxiu Jiangnan. In the afternoon, we went to Peach Blossom Spring first, and then to the Jingxiu Qiantang construction site that the Hangcheng rubber factory is preparing to build. After a day of running, everyone felt a little tired, but in high spirits. When they were having dinner at Zhongshenji in the evening, Miss Cai and Lu Ligan said, "Mr. Lu, we are relieved. After looking at several projects, you have done a good job. Especially the quality of the house is much better than those around you. It shows that you are very professional. If we cooperate, we will only work with very professional people. People cooperate." Lu Ligan was still wondering today why Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, did not arrange to go to Gentian River to see the site first, but went to see several projects first. It turned out that he wanted to prove to the other party that you had the ability to do such a large project. Otherwise, no need to talk about it. Meng Ping introduced to them the Jinghai International Financial Center and the Xinbu Island project that Lu Ligan was working on in Haikan. Miss Cai and the others kept nodding, understanding that Mr. Lu was not a professional now, but had already been in Hainan. "Very professional," Lu Ligan said sheepishly. Unfortunately, both projects were abandoned halfway. Miss Cai looked at him and smiled. "We all know about Hainan, brother Lu. What did you say? A crime other than war?" Lu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, said. "Yes, that's what I mean. It's difficult for an individual to determine the overall situation, but even among the same losers, you can distinguish good from bad. Mr. Lu, Mr. Meng, don't you think Hainan's experience has any impact on you? Is it cultivation? Is it also a hardship that must be experienced to grow?" Miss Cai asked. Meng Ping is right. Without the experience in Hainan, we would not have dared to undertake such a large project for fear of losing control. "Yes, Mr. Meng said it very well." Miss Cai looked at Lu Ligan and asked, "Mr. Lu, do you know how I choose drivers when I recruit them?" Lu Ligan shook his head. "I will first pick those who have had accidents. If he can tell you frankly that he has had an accident, it shows that he is honest. Even if you don't say it, we also know that those who do real estate in Hainan have basically failed. but the fact that you can tell me yourself shows that you are also honest. Lou Ligon smiled sheepishly, and Miss CAI continued. Second, I will look at the reason why he got into the accident. If he was drunk, violent, violated the rules, etc., I will exclude it, and then my driver will be selected from it. Do you know why? MSCAI asked herself and answered. First, as a driver, you said it is difficult to drive a car for a lifetime without getting into an accident, but there is a probability issue. He has already had an accident. Then he won't be so unlucky and always get into accidents. And most importantly, people who have had accidents don't need me to remind them to drive safely. Everyone laughed, and Lou Ligon and Meng Ping also knew that they were the drivers who had been involved in the accident. MSCAI took out the set of photos of the renderings from her bag and said to Lou Ligon, "Okay, Mr. Lou, we can talk about this project now." Lou Ligon said yes. "Has the price of the land been announced?" another customer asked. "When it comes out, the assessed value based on the current situation is 680,000 acres, Lou Ligon said. The city government requires the units along the river, in principle, the agreed transfer price not to exceed the assessed value. Of course, this also requires each family to work." "How many square meters is 1 acre?" the guest continued to ask. MSCAI raised her hand and said, "When we go to the mainland, we use the mainland's measurement unit." "Mr. Lou, your mainland unit is based on acres, what else?" "When the land agreement is transferred, it is calculated by acres, and when the house is sold, it is calculated by the building area, which is calculated in square meters." Lou Ligon said, "For this project, we actually need to acquire 1,128 acres of land. For construction, we can achieve more than 2.4 million square meters. However, considering the proportion of the construction area to the total area, and it also contains villa and townhouse projects, so we decided to build 2 million square meters." "How much is the expected price of the house per square meter?" Miss CAI asked. "All the houses in this project are located in the city center of Hangzhou. I don't know how it is in Taiwan, but in mainland China, the houses in the city center are the most valuable according to our sales experience in several previous projects, and now with mainland housing prices rising every year, we expect the average price to be RMB 2,500 per square meter." "What about the construction cost?" MSCAI asked. Lou Ligon took out a document from his bag, handed it to MSCAI, and said to her, "This is all the data, including construction costs, taxes, sales costs, and details of cleaning up and renovating the Gentian River." Miss CAI took it and looked at it carefully, mumbling something as if she was calculating something. After seeing it, she laughed and said to Lou Ligon, "Mr. Lou, I have to admire you. Your plan is very clever and cunning, but it cannot be revealed or let outsiders know." Lou Ligon also smiled, and he was right, but Miss CAI is here to discuss cooperation, so I must let you know. Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, looked at them, puzzled, and asked, "Is there something fishy in this? Why didn't I see it?" Lou Ligon quickly said that there was actually nothing fishy. The results were the same, but the calculation methods were different. Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, was still puzzled. He looked at Miss CAI, who said, "Mr. Liu's entire plan is called the Gentian River Improvement Plan. Looking at it alone, it will cost more than 200 million to improve the Gentian River, which is a lot of money. But he did the entire project together. If you look at the entire project as a residential area, Brother Liu, it's more than 200 million, which averages to 2 million square miles, which is more than 100 yuan per square meter. The cost of river regulation, which is basically allocated in the construction cost. It sounds like real estate development is just an ancillary project of river improvement. In fact, if you look carefully, This is actually a large real estate project. River improvement is an ancillary project of this real estate project. After the improvement, it is actually this residential building, the inland river of the community. Of course, the best thing about it is that after it is completed, it is open management and does not refuse other citizens to enter. So Mr. Liu is right. The result is the same. The park in this community is also a city park. Thank you to the 10,000 Years White Vote Party, third from top to bottom, Baby Tin Soldier, and On the Shore 131 for the reward. Thank you to Pandalong, Xiaobianze Bad, Li Rujin, and user 229790848 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 868. When Zhang Chen returned home in the evening, he still used 2 pieces of lead drawing paper, cut them in half horizontally, glued them together, and spread them on the floor of the studio. Zhang Chen found a Wang Xingji fan from the cabinet in the studio. Zhang Chen has always liked this paper folding fan since he was a child. He has bought several of them. The fan was opened, and on one side were the 4 characters Westlake Range Rover. On the other side, was a simple panoramic view of the Westlake. Zhang Chen carefully searched for it, but never found it. Who was the original author of this picture? Who? Next to each scenic spot in the picture, there is a small long frame, marking the name of the scenic spot: Weeping Orioles in the Willows, Fenghe in Quyuan, Nanping Evening Bell. It is very similar to Zhang Chen's favorite comic strip when he was a child, the Shanghai Nessa version of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms drawn by Lu Danzai, Cheng Shifa, and others. When the characters in it appear for the first time, a character will appear next to them. A small long frame with the person's name written in the frame, such as Zhao Yun, Wei Yan, or Su Shu. Later, various lists often appeared in newspapers. There were several names in the lists with black boxes. When Zhang Chen was a child, he always mistakenly thought that these people were comic book characters. Later he learned that these were deceased and honorary people who continue to appear on various lists. Zhang Chen still took HB's pencil and laid out the entire painting. Compared with the Westlake Range Rover picture on the fan, he extended it. On the left side, that is, Wushan He and Wushan Tianfang from the Chenghuang Pavilion, continue to the left and you will see the Qiantang River Bridge and the Liuhe Pagoda on the other side of the mountain. Closest to the beginning on the left is the surging Qiantang River tide. This is not a panoramic view of the Westlake, but more like a map of Hangzhou's mountains and rivers. However, Zhang Chen feels that the picture is richer if there are rivers, lakes, and mountains. Moreover, the Liuhe Pagoda and the Qiantang River Bridge, like the 3 pools reflecting the moon, are part of Hangzhou. The most representative picture. Zhang Chen painted in one breath until about 3 o'clock in the morning. Xiao Zhao came in wearing pajamas, rubbed his sleepy eyes, and said to him, "My dear, it's time to sleep." Zhang Chen just went to sleep and will continue tomorrow. Early in the morning, Lao Tan and Lao Wan drove Lao Wan's utility truck to the Westlake and pulled 2 flat-bottomed rowing boats. They had negotiated the price yesterday and agreed to transport the boats today. Together with the boatman, they took the boat to the small dock of Gentian Power Plant, where they waited for the arrival of Lu Ligan, Miss Cai, and their entourage. At around 9 o'clock, they arrived. They took 2 boats, Lu Ligan, Zhang Chen, Miss Cai, and Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty. In the front boat, Meng Ping and Lao Tan accompanied the other 2 guests in the back boat. As soon as they arrived here, the 3 guests from Taiwan were all frightened by the river. Even Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, knew that the Gentian River was a smelly river after hearing Lu Ligan and others say it many times, but he was the first to go there today. When he first came here for the first time, he almost couldn't believe that there was such a place in Hangzhou, and he was also frightened. Lu Ligan asked the boatman to follow their last route to the culvert on Huanchen North Road, turn around, and then drive in the other direction. The morning sun shines on the green duckweed on the river and the grass on both sides, reflecting dazzling spots of light. Where the wood pulp rises and falls, the green spreads around, revealing the soy sauce-colored water below. Waves of stench follow the rise and fall of the wood pulp. Lou Ligon was worried that Miss CAI wouldn't be able to bear the ups and downs, but Miss CAI just frowned and said in surprise, "So dirty." Then he said nothing more. Even the boatman paddling at the stern of the boat kept shaking his head. "Westlake is already dirty enough, but I didn't expect the water here to be 10 times dirtier than Westlake." Lou Ligon and Miss CAI kept introducing the place names on both sides of the Taiwan Strait, and where each bridge and each scenic spot would be located in the rendering corresponding to Zhangchen. Miss CAI was sitting on the boat. At first she was asking questions, but then her words became less and less. After passing Qingchun Road, and then crossing Jifang Road, there were 3 major hospitals on one side, and a ferroalloy factory and a train station on the other. Looking at the medical waste floating and sinking among the green pods on the water surface, MSCAI sighed and said, "The water here is not only smelly, but also poisonous, right?" Zhangchen and Lou Ligon smiled. They didn't know how to answer this question, but they felt their faces were burning. There is such a smelly river in your city, and being seen by guests, it really doesn't matter if they expose their sores to others. Others see it more or less the same. The boat continued to move forward, passing the place where Lou Ligon's boat leaked last time. After walking 200 or 300 meters further, they arrived at the dam Chu Tianlin mentioned. Below the dam, the Gentian River continued, but the boat could no longer move forward. "Must go back." When passing the section between Jifang Road and Qingchun Road, Miss CAI looked at Lou Ligon and asked, "Mr. Liu, can you promise me that after the renovation, this place will be as beautiful as what Mr. Zhang painted?" Lou Ligon nodded and said, "I promise." "Well, I don't care if they vote or not, I decided to vote," Miss CAI said. Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, asked, "Don't you discuss with them first before making a decision?" Miss CAI shook her head and suddenly said, "For no reason, I can't take away all the good things in the city and keep all the bad things." Lou Ligon's heart skipped a beat. Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, smiled and said, "What you said reminds me of a person." Miss CAI remained silent and stared blankly out of the boat. After a while, she seemed to wake up and asked, "What did you say, Brother Liu?" "You said you thought of someone." Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, nodded, "You remind me of my old father." Miss CAI burst into laughter and looked at him. "Really?" Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said, "When we were young, we were ignorant and read the news. At that time, the news in Taiwan did not always say that the mainland was so poor or that poor. The cartoons in the newspapers painted the mainland people like beggars. We kids will laugh when we see it, but if my father sees it, he will get angry and scold us." "What did Mr. Liu scold you for?" Miss CAI asked. Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said, "He scolded us that when the country was still so poor, all good things were moved to Taiwan, including gold, US dollars, and the treasures of the Forbidden City, which emptied all the family wealth in the mainland. Only by relying on this can we what's the top 10 construction projects. Now you have the nerve to look back and laugh at other people's poverty." Miss CAI nodded, "Mr. Liu is right. This incident left a deep impression on me, so I have made money and suffered a lot of losses in the mainland over the years. When I suffered losses, I thought, this is what I should do. I am paying off my debts. When you think like this, people will calm down, and I will still stay in the mainland." As Liu Bang, the founder of the Han dynasty, said, Zhang Chen thought about the secret cellar entertainment city. They returned to the dock of Gentian power plant and got off the boat. MSCAI told the two people, "I have decided to do this project. Mr. Yu, I have also decided for him." "Where are you two?" The two men said that we must be with Mr. Cai. Miss Cai nodded, turned around and said to Lu Ligan, Mr. Lu, let's go to your company to discuss cooperation in detail. The two of them quickly discussed it, that is, both parties would jointly invest to establish a company. For Mr. Yu, who did not come, MSCAI also decided for him. The four of them each contributed RMB 200 million and each held 100 shares. 15%, totaling 60%. Lu Ligan invested 200 million yuan, accounting for 40% of the shares, and served as the legal person of the company. The name they planned to apply for was Hangcheng Kunpeng Construction Co., Limited. Kun and Peng are extremely large mythical beasts in ancient Chinese myths and legends. Kun is a big fish that lives in the northern sea and can transform into a rock. Peng is a big bird, its wings are like clouds and mist that cover the sky. It transformed from Kun and then moved to the south. They are two different creatures, but they are one. Kun transformed into Peng, which is a metaphor for the integration of the two sides of the Taiwan Strait, and also foreshadows the integration of the two sides. With their future development, they can spread their wings like Kun Peng, soar up, and fly freely between heaven and earth. Lu Ligan asked Ying Ying to take the information to the Municipal Industry and Commerce Bureau to consult on the procedures for a joint venture, and brought back the application form for pre-approval of enterprise name. After deciding to use this name, both parties looked at it and felt that the name was more important. The better it comes, there is no other name that is more suitable than it, for fear of being snapped up. Ying Ying went happily, but came back empty-handed. She sat across from Lu Ligan and said to Lu Ligan with a sad face, Mr. Lu, the Industrial and Commercial Bureau does not allow registration of our company. Why? Lu Ligan was surprised. Has someone already used this name? No, it means the policy doesn't allow it. Lu Ligan breathed a sigh of relief. As long as he wasn't registered, it didn't matter. The worst he could do was ask Lu Chengcheng to come forward, and the Industrial and Commercial Bureau would have to give the green light, or he could go directly to the director himself. They weren't unfamiliar with him. Lu Ligan asked Ying Ying, what policy does not allow it? What they say is that currently, the country does not allow foreign investment to enter the field of infrastructure construction. Our renovation of the Gentian River is an infrastructure project. Also, foreign investment is not allowed to enter high-end real estate. Ordinary residential, commercial, and industrial buildings are allowed. But in our project, if there are townhouses and villas, that won't work, Ying Ying said angrily. There is another reason. The house on the top floor of a high-rise building has double floors and a sky garden. Is it an ordinary residence or a high-end residence? How can you develop one building as two projects? Lu Ligan asked. That's right, and also, we usually talk about Taiwanese compatriots and Taiwanese compatriots, but at this time, we say that they are foreign investors. Huh, I'm just not convinced, and I even got into a quarrel with their director, Ying Ying said. You had a quarrel with the director of the Municipal Industry and Commerce Bureau? Lu Ligan asked in surprise. Yeah, I'm not afraid of him. My aunt, you are not afraid of him, but you still quarrel with him. Doesn't this add fuel to the fire and make this license more difficult? Okay, you are awesome, Ying Ying. You usually don't know the difference between the important and the important. Can't you tell the difference now? Ying Ying looked at Lu Ligan blankly. You're not afraid of him, I'm afraid of you. Okay, Ying Ying. Lu Ligan stood up and walked out of the door quickly. Ying Ying asked, Mr. Lu, where are you going? Go wipe your ass, Lu Ligan said. Ying Ying blushed, made a face at Lu Ligan's back, and snorted, how dare you touch my butt? Thank you for the reward for reading every day. Thank you UN11, Fatty 196,915, and book friends 130221184047110 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 869. Lu Ligan arrived at the Municipal Bureau of Industry and Commerce and went directly to Director Ying's office on the 5th floor. Director Ying saw Lu Ligan coming in and smiled. "Mr. Lu, what's wrong? Your men just made a big fuss at my place, and you're here again." "What do you mean, a will battle?" Lu Ligan said quickly. Sorry, Director Ying, the little girl is ignorant and doesn't know the importance. Please forgive me." "Forgive what?" "It's just what I had an argument with you about." Director Ying laughed and asked, "Then you can even apologize to her for the quarrel she had with me when she was a child." "When you were a child?" Lu Lizan was puzzled. "What were the quarrels about when he was a child?" "Ying didn't tell you," Director Ying said with a smile. "I am her uncle." "This niece had a fight with her uncle. Does she still need you to apologize on her behalf?" "Ah," Lu Ligan was surprised and said with a smile, "then I really don't know." "So, then you are the director of the factory?" My brother," Director Ying said, "but he has a strong opinion of me, and we have had several quarrels." "This is again." "The first thing I blame is that I didn't help him move his seat. The second thing I blame is that he didn't help Ying find a good job. I just thought, why do we have to worry about this kid? It's not a bad idea to let her go out on her own." "No, I heard that Ying is doing a good job at your place now." "Yes, Ying is very capable. In our company, she can be said to be very important now." Lu Ligan said, thinking that Director Ying probably didn't know that Ying's coming to his company was the result of her father, Director Ying, worrying about it. This adult should still worry about it, otherwise, no matter how capable the child is, without a platform and space, he couldn't perform. Director Ying said, "It can be seen that no matter how good the job is for her, she will not move." "Mr. Lu, I personally thank you. Ying is a child who has been very independent and has ideas since she was a child. She always wants to debate with me, and as soon as we start arguing, we will definitely end up in a quarrel, haha." "That's right, so she said she's not afraid of you." Lu Ligan also laughed. "She just told me that she had a quarrel with you. I was shocked and criticized her, but she said she was not afraid of you." "Yes, she has never been afraid of me. My son is still afraid of me. If something happens, he will ask her to talk to me," Director Ying said with a smile. "By the way, Mr. Lu, you are still worried about the license?" Lu Ligan nodded and said yes. Director Ying said, "I also know that the improvement of Gentian River is a major event and a good thing in the city. I also hope that this project can be launched as soon as possible. For such a long time, several leaders of the municipal party committee and government have been unable to push it forward." "Why? Not yet?" "Because I am poor, because I have no money. We were a little better last year, but the total local fiscal revenue in Hangzhou, including the following counties, was only 1.97 billion yuan, less than 2 billion yuan. It would take hundreds of millions to improve it. Zhenchanhe, how is it possible? It simply cannot be done without the introduction of external funds. This rectification of the Gentian River is not only held at the provincial and municipal people's congresses, but also during the National People's Congress and the National People's Congress. I have also joined forces with several other representatives from Hangzhou to propose several proposals. I hope that the central finance can help us in Hangzhou solve this long-standing problem. It can be said that I am more eager than anyone else to regulate the Gentian River. I don't want others to tell me the importance and necessity. I know it clearly. When I heard that you were coming to regulate the Gentian River, I was happy from the bottom of my heart. Also expressed full support. But, On the other hand, the national policy is there. Foreign investment in high-end real estate and infrastructure construction is prohibited. This is a restrictive clause. There is no ambiguity. As long as it can be allowed or not, I will definitely let it. For the sake of citizens of Hangzhou, what am I afraid of? But this is a prohibitive clause and I cannot knowingly violate it. To put it bluntly, I illegally gave you this license to get your project started, but if your superiors find out, your license will still be revoked. By then, your losses will probably be even greater. Mr. Liu, do you think what I said is correct? Lu Ligan nodded, his heart trembling for a while. Director Ying said it very frankly. He was not the kind of person who was timid at work. He said clearly that he couldn't do it. That was Lian Luchangcheng, and even the Hangzhou city government has no control over the situation. It seems that this road is dead, and everything is back to the original point. The past few days have been busy in vain, and I have no time to rejoice. Lu Ligan stood up to say goodbye. Director Ying walked him to the elevator entrance, holding Lu Ligan's hand and saying to him, Mr. Liu, I still hope that this project can continue. Please think of a way and don't give in, okay? Lu Lepol nodded, smiling bitterly in his heart. Continue. How to proceed? This requires the horse to run again. Not only is it not allowed to eat grass, but its forehooves are also tied up. Can this horse still fly? Lu Ligan went downstairs, drove his car out of the gate of the Industrial and Commercial Bureau, and drove aimlessly on the street. He felt like he wanted to cry without tears. Lu Ligan was driving very slowly. The pedestrians outside turned their heads and looked at the person in the limousine with envy. They felt that he was a man from heaven. Probably no one knew that this man, at this time, was actually he is the most desperate person in Hangzhou. Lu Ligan didn't know what else he could do next. He couldn't even get a license. This meant that the roots had been eradicated. Lu Ligan's eldest brother shouted, it was Meng Ping. Meng Ping asked Lu Ligan, Gangzi, how is the license issue going? Lu Ligan smiled bitterly and said, have you been sentenced to death? What happened? If it can't be done, foreign capital can't do this. Don't be ridiculous. The whole country is not attracting investment or encouraging foreign investment. If such a large sum of money comes in, no matter which city it is placed in, the government will be overjoyed. There is no one who refuses. Meng Ping thought Lu Ligan was there. Just kidding, say. Really, I just came out of the Industrial and Commercial Bureau, Meng Ping, I just can't do it. Lu Ligan almost cried, and then Meng Ping realized that it was not a joke. Gangzi, have you ever gone to see Director Ying? Zhang Chen called from the side. I just came out of his office, Lu Ligan said. Meng Ping asked, Gangzi, where are you? Zhang Chen, the emperor, and I will be here soon. Lu Ligan originally wanted to say that I was on the street and I would come right away, but suddenly he felt that his limbs were weak. He parked the car on the side of the road and did not know where he was driving. He looked outside the car and saw this. I told Meng Ping, this seems to be Dao Mao Lane, and I stopped at the door of Lao Niang's dumplings. The car was parked in front of someone else's shop. It would be a bad idea not to take care of someone else's business. Lu Lepol got out of the car and walked into the dumpling shop. He ordered a bowl of soup dumplings and added a lot of spicy sauce. He took a bite and it tasted very good. Okay, Lu Ligan then remembered that he hadn't eaten dumplings for a long time. It, no matter if the sky falls, I want to eat the dumplings first. Boss, have another bowl. After Lu Ligan shouted, he added another spoonful of hot sauce, and then ate the dumplings with concentration. He didn't know whether it was because they were hot and spicy, but big beads of sweat rolled down, and then tears flowed out. Meng Ping's Cadillac stopped behind Lu Ligan's Hutuban. Meng Ping, Zhang Chen, and Lu Bang, the emperor of Han Dynasty, got out of the car. They saw that no one was in the Hutuban. Then they looked around and saw a dumpling shop. Lu Ligan was engrossed in eating dumplings, and they walked into the dumpling shop. When Lu Ligan saw them, he waved the spoon in his hand and shouted, "Come on, eat the dumplings. These dumplings are good, and the chili sauce is also good. It's so refreshing that it brought tears to my eyes." Lu Ligan told them the matter, and Meng Ping scolded, "I'll go, there is still this rule, why? When foreign investment enters high-end real estate, it is not about improving the living conditions of the masses, but it is speculation. It can easily cause huge fluctuations in the real estate market, and will affect the stock market. It will also affect the ordinary commercial housing market through the transmission effect. There are a lot of reasons like this," Lu Ligan said with a wry smile. "Then what should we do now? Let Miss Cai and the others make this trip in vain?" Zhang Chen asked. "I don't know. When I saw the money flying away one by one, my heart hurt more than a knife," Lu Ligan said. Director Ying was even more funny. "He asked me to think of a solution. Never retreat." Zhang Chen sighed, "That means he really has no solution here. Director Ying's mind is liberated enough." "Yes, that's why I'm so desperate. Knowing this, there's no point even looking for Lu Changchen," Lu Ligan sighed. "Eat quickly. After eating, we'd better go to Miss Cai's place," Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said. "Maybe Miss Cai has a way. I know that their financial holding company has a lot of money entering the mainland every year. I must have encountered something like this, maybe she knows how to deal with it." When Lu Ligan heard this, his eyes lit up. He put the half dumpling left in the spoon back into the bowl and shouted, "Boss, pay the bill." Lu Ligan and the others arrived at Miss Cai's room. Miss Cai listened to Lu Ligan's explanation and remained calm, showing neither surprise nor disappointment. She thought for a while and said quietly, "Then it's a detour and we'll pay an extra fee." When Lu Ligan heard this, he immediately knew that this matter was still serious and shouted, "What is the cost? I will bear the cost." Ms. Cai smiled, waved her hand and said, "No, just make a roundabout way. We still have to make everything legal and compliant. Otherwise, Mr. Lu, this will be not only your risk, but also our risk." Lu Ligan nodded repeatedly. He was right. Director Ying of the Industrial and Commercial Bureau also said the same. "Mr. Lu, do you have a reliable trust company here?" "I can't recommend one," Miss Cai said. "Can Shenzhen Angzhen Trust Co., Limited do it?" Meng Ping asked. "Is it the one under Shenzhen Development Bank?" Miss Cai asked. "Do you know it?" Lu Ligan and Meng Ping nodded together. Lu Ligan said, "They are responsible for my mortgage of Splendid Jiangnan and Lao Meng's business." "That's no problem, yes. We have also had business cooperation with them," Miss Cai said. "Their Mr. Chiao is in Hangzhou now," Meng Ping said. "Really? Can you please ask him to come over now, Mr. Meng?" Miss Cai said. "Okay, I'll call right away." After Meng Ping finished speaking, he called Mr. Chiao and asked him to come over, saying that he had business to discuss with him. "Tell him Taipei Fubon Financial Holdings, my surname is Cai, and I invite him to come over." Miss Cai said that Mr. Chiao had already heard it on the phone. He said, "Mr. Meng, please tell Ms. Cai that I will leave immediately." "Thank you, Wu Yehuan, book friend 201701201935244134, and no one asked me for the reward. Thank you, Wu Yehuan, for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening, everyone." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 870. Before Mr. Chiao arrived, Miss Cai told Lu Ligan her plan. That is, they would make a trust plan with Mr. Chiao and his company and entrust them to hold 100% of Hangzhou Kunpeng Construction Co., Limited on their behalf. 60 of the shares, exercise the rights of shareholders, and when necessary, they will also enter the shareholders' meeting as representatives of Shenzhen Angxin Trust Co., Ltd. Of course, Mr. Liu, this is generally impossible to happen. MSCAI emphasized. In this way, the shareholders of Hangcheng Kunpeng Construction Co., Limited will become the two shareholders of Zhejiang Jinxiu, Shenzhen Angxin, and Mr. Liu, in the industrial and commercial registration. There is no problem at all. But for us, we need to pay every year. Mr. Chiao and the others paid a management fee. Lu Ligan was already a little worried about the matter. He asked Miss CAI, "Can I consult the Industrial and Commercial Bureau first?" Of course, Miss CAI nodded. Lu Ligan walked to the corridor outside, called Director Ying and told him the matter. Director Ying asked, "Is this Shenzhen Angxin not a foreign investor?" "No, it's a company under Shenzhen Development Bank." "That's no problem, Mr. Liu. I don't care who actually owns the investment money. As long as it comes in and doesn't escape, there is no problem with the shareholders' subject qualifications. Mr. Liu, hurry up and implement it." Lu Ligan returned to the room, nodded to Miss CAI and said, "No problem, the Industrial and Commercial Bureau said it was okay." Miss CAI then smiled and told him that in fact, we have already done such a case, and there must be no problem. Mr. Zhou has arrived. Mr. Chiao and his company have cooperated with MSCAI and his financial holding company before, but Mr. Chiao has never met MSCAI. He told Zhang Chen and others that MSCAI will basically not participate in specific business negotiations. She is actually their financial manager, the boss of the control company. Seeing that Zhang Chen and the others were puzzled, Mr. Chiao said that Fuban Financial Holdings is one of the top 3 financial institutions in Taiwan. The chairman is her father, and her father only has her daughter. After saying this, Zhang Chen and Meng Ping understood, and Lu Ligan became even more convinced that Miss CAI was the person Alien was talking about. Of course, Mr. Chiao was very happy to meet Miss CAI today. The two parties quickly reached an agreement. Mr. Chiao asked Miss CAI, "Did the money come from Hong Kong or Singapore?" MSCAI said no, the money is in the mainland. We have shares in many Taiwanese companies in the mainland, so we have a large amount of funds in the mainland. Mr. Chiao understood that there was no better way to go out for the money earned in the mainland. It was better to continue investing in the mainland. Although the other 3 shareholders had not invested in the mainland, they only needed to return to Taiwan and transfer the corresponding funds. The money sent to Miss CAI and the others was equivalent to their investment funds, and it came to the mainland quietly. In the financial circle, it has been rumored that there are several such large idle funds in China, but it is difficult to easily access this kind of funds. Being able to access this fund today is like digging a gold mine for Mr. Chiao. The two parties quickly reached an agreement. The next day, the funds arrived in the account of Mr. Chiao and his company. Director Ying also instructed his subordinates to handle special matters and help Lu Ligan and Mr. Chiao handle it in 3 days. Okay, business license. Miss CAI and the others are going back to Taiwan. The daily affairs in Hangzhou will be left to Han Emperor Liu Bang to help them take care of them. When Liu Bang saw Lao Tan again, he said to him, "How about it? We are now cooperating with the Kuomintang and the Communist Party." Old Tan laughed. Zhang Chen gave the painting to Miss CAI. Miss CAI liked it very much and told Zhang Chen that I will hang this painting at home now, and when my 101 building is completed, I will hang it in my office. Mr. Zhang, I will definitely invite you to my office when the time comes, okay? Zhang Chen said yes, thank you Miss CAI. The night before leaving, Lu Ligan invited them to have dinner at Tianxiang Tower. After dinner, Miss CAI asked Lu Ligan, "Mr. Liu, is this not far from the West Lake?" Lu Ligan said yes. The end of this Liberation Road is the West Lake. "Mr. Liu, can you accompany me for a walk by the West Lake?" Miss CAI requested. Lu Ligan said yes, and the others knew that they had something to discuss, so they did not follow them, but went to the bowling alley of Han Emperor Lu Bang to play bowling together. Miss Cai and Lu Ligan were walking by the West Lake. The two exchanged some work matters. Miss Cai specially told Lu Ligan that everything must be done in place. Don't be anxious and don't rush the deadline. For a project like this, quality comes first. Mr. Lu, don't worry. Even if the project exceeds the budget, it doesn't matter, but please ensure the quality. This river must not be renovated just now, otherwise we will be criticized because of the quality of the project. Lu Ligan said yes, I understand, and I will try my best to do it well. Also, I will also give special instructions to Brother Lu. Therefore, Brother Lu may keep a close eye on this aspect in the future. I hope Mr. Lu will not mind then. Lu Ligan said, don't worry, MSCAI, all my projects are now in Hangzhou. My requirement for all projects is that at least they should be number 1 in Hangzhou, and then strive to be number 1 in the country. So whether it's river improvement or real estate development, quality must come first. I was originally worried that investors would excessively pursue investment returns. But after hearing what MSCAI said, I felt relieved. MSCAI said, I am paying off my debt. Pay off the debt. Have you forgotten what Brother Lu said that day? Miss Cai said meaningfully, I took away the best thing in the city, and I will do my best to repay it. Lu Ligan seemed to know what Miss Cai was talking about, but he had no way to ask or say more. The two walked forward in silence for a while, and Miss Cai said, Mr. Lu, can you help me find someone? Okay, Lu Ligan said without thinking, Miss Cai, who are you looking for? Miss Cai was silent for a while, shook her head, and said, forget it, it depends on fate. If we can meet, we will definitely meet. Hangzhou is said to be small, but in fact it is not big, right Lu gentlemen? Lu Ligan was right. They walked through Lu Park and went further to Wanghu Hotel. Lu Ligan stopped. He was worried that he would meet alien at the door of Wanghu Hotel, although he had already determined that the person Miss Cai was looking for it must be alien, but he can't let them meet in this situation, it would be too cruel for anyone. Two people walking together, one stopped, and the other naturally stopped too. The two of them stood there, looking towards the West Lake in the dark night. Miss Cai murmured. Mr. Lu, have you ever felt that reality will always be crueler than imagination? Lu Ligan nodded and said, this happens often. Miss Cai asked, Mr. Lu, can I ask you a very personal question? Lu Ligan said yes. Are you married? Lu Ligan said no. Why, shouldn't a man like you be liked by many women? Miss Cai said with a smile. Lu Ligan said honestly, there are many women, but the one I like, she doesn't like me. I understand. Miss Cai nodded, it will hurt, right? At a loss. What? I just don't know how to make her like me, Lu Ligan said, and he also laughed. He said, Mr. Zhang always said that I seem to be like a fish in water in front of other women, but in front of the woman I like, but I was clumsy, like a fool. Miss Cai smiled softly, that's because you care too much and are afraid of making mistakes. But the more you are afraid of making mistakes, the easier it is to make mistakes. Lu Ligan said, it's really like this. When I was thinking about what to say, I ended up not being able to say anything at all. I can't tell. Miss Cai smiled, Mr. Lu doesn't seem to be that kind of person. But it happens. Lu Ligan said, by the way, how many children does Miss Cai have? A son, very cute and lovely. After Miss Cai said this, she fell silent. After a long time, she murmured incoherently, it was only after I became a mother that I realized the pain of motherhood. Anyone else would not be able to understand this sentence, but Lu Ligan understood that the word mother appearing twice in this sentence actually refers to two people. Lu Ligan went to Lu Chencheng's office and reported to him that his Kunpeng Construction Co., Limited had been established and the funds were in place. Lu Chengcheng immediately held a second coordination meeting. Everyone who attended the meeting said, "It has been reported, but it has not been approved yet. It has to wait." Lu Chengcheng knows that they are deliberately kicking the ball, but there is nothing they can do. He is the current manager, but not their county official. Some relationships between units and departments are very delicate. If you push too hard, their superior units will think that you, the Hangzhou city government, are not like this. It is ordering us to cooperate deliberately, but also to delay. Moreover, if it is not done well, the relationship between the two parties will be completely frozen. Haste makes waste. Next, the Gentian River Management Leading Group Office held 3 rounds of expert meetings to discuss and modify Lu Ligan's plan. As expected by Mr. Han, the experts were more enthusiastic than anyone else. "It seems that I have been buried in the pile of books for too long, waiting for the opportunity to be dug out. Now the opportunity came." They were dug out by this project. They walked from the side of the stage to the middle of the stage, from the desk, under the dim desk lamp, to the spotlight and flashlight. They shook their spirits and felt that I am many years younger, so I have no choice but to support this project. Suddenly, all the media in Hangzhou focused on the Gentian River Regulation Project. Experts cited scriptures in the media. The whole Hangzhou finally knew that Gentian River was formerly called Meisi River and was once the busiest river in Hangzhou. After renovation, it will also be the most tasteful river in Hangzhou. People across the city are looking forward to it. The much anticipated groundbreaking ceremony for the renovation of the Gentian River was held, announcing that the plan for the renovation of the Gentian River had begun. After the prologue kicked off, the eagerly awaited citizens of Hangzhou discovered why Gentian River would be so quiet next. Except for the dozens of colorful flags that were planted during the groundbreaking ceremony and were still drooping in the rain, not a single person could be seen on the entire construction site. The reason is very simple, that is, no agreement on the land transfer on both sides of the river has been signed. Lu Ligan knew that if he entered the market without signing an agreement, no one would sign the agreement. But the citizens and experts who are looking forward to it don't care about this. Isn't it the Gentian River Improvement Plan? Then you need to start moving on the Gentian River? Lu Ligan immediately became very passive. He looked at the rain outside and hoped that the rain would get heavier and non-stop. But the weather forecast says it will turn from rain to cloudy tomorrow. Thank you to Wanyan Batiao Party, Yuengzi, Wolverine Tin Soldier, and On the Shore 131 for the rewards. Thank you Mu Yangxiang, Yuju, and Pai Wuzun for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health.